Good morning. Satoko and Rika-chan looked a little sad when they saw only the two of us. If the three of us came to school together like always, they would have been really happy, but our classmates were as noisy as usual. Nobody seemed to make a big deal about Rena's absence. Chie-sensei was going to be here soon, and she'd start morning homeroom. Everyone was fooling around as if they didn't want to miss a second of the time until then. Hey, something stinks today. Close the windows. Silly, it'll be hotter in here if we do that. It smelled like gasoline, or something, and it really stank. Someone from the forestry service must have been putting gasoline into the construction equipment or something. Some students near the windows were making a fuss because they wanted to close the windows to shut out the smell. Our school wasn't a normal school compared to others. We were using a part of the forestry service building. Unusual things like this happen sometimes. This is nothing. I remember they once brought a few big piles of juniper branches. That was awful. It had the distinct irritating odor that gave us all headaches. What's a juniper? Meep. That's the name of a vegetable. We sometimes put it in curry. Wahaha. You should look for it next time you go grocery shopping. Huh? I know a little bit about vegetables, but it sounds like you'd better to make Rika and Keiichi taste it first, just in case. What? Our ball is missing. You hid it again, didn't you, Hojo? The boys seemed to be looking for their ball for a while, and they yelled at Satoko. Why would I hide such a stupid thing? If I was going to hide anything, I'd hide something better than that. Hey, Chie-sensei is coming. Everybody take a seat. Hello, everyone. Get to your seats. I kept thinking about Rena the whole time during class. I thought about what she said last night. I wonder what her come from behind victory means. According to Kano-san's delusion, the masterminds behind Dao terrorism are three families, and a group of fanatical believers that controlled those three. In other words, the Sonozaki family. What could Rena do alone against them? Mion lived with her grandmother, the leader of the Sonozaki family. The only two of them in the house. It was possible Rena would try to break into the house with a knife. But I'd already come up with a possibility last night. That's why I called Mion and warned her. On the way to school this morning, Mion told me some bodyguards of the Corps had been at her house since this morning. She told me she'd be guarded herself, too. There was a black car parked near the school gate. They must have been the bodyguards. But according to Kano's parasite theory, the battle wouldn't end just by attacking the leader of the Sonozaki family. According to the illusion she believes in, the conditions of victory were more complicated than that. She needed to expose the group of fanatics who are behind the Sonozaki family. She needed to destroy the research on the parasite. Plus, Rena didn't have much time left thanks to the suspicions poison she mentioned. But how exactly could she win a come-from-behind victory under the circumstances like that? She might interpret that the town council are the group of fanatics. If so, she might attack them next time they have a meeting at the shrine. The town council meets once a month at most. It would be hard to believe that they were holding a meeting today. She probably thought the place researching the parasite is the Erie Clinic. Rena suspected there was something fishy about the clinic from the beginning, and that suspicion must have changed to a certainty in her head by now. Did that mean she was going to attack the clinic? This wasn't an action movie. What could she do all by herself? Was she going to start a fire? No, that would be pointless. In order to expose the conspiracy, she'd have to get proof that they were actually studying the parasite. Was she going to break into the clinic and get questionable weird samples? The last problem of all was how much time she had left. If she believed she didn't have much time left, especially under desperate, disadvantageous conditions, she might try to stab whoever she thought of as an enemy. But Rena sounded like she really believed she would regain her happy and peaceful days after everything was over. Rena probably meant that she was going to stay alive and win. Was there something like an antidote? It didn't have to be real. As long as it was an antidote to Rena's delusion. It didn't matter what it was. It could even be water you washed your vegetables with. But if she thought she could get the antidote so easily, she wouldn't have been so desperate about the time she left. The antidote must be difficult for her to get. The easiest place for that in her delusion was that it was hidden somewhere in the clinic. Putting it all together like that, I felt like Erie and his clinic were in danger. Now I thought about it, the elderly people in the village, including the members of the town council, hung out in the waiting room of the clinic all the time. If most of the board members happened to gather there, for her it'd be a perfect place to attack. I told Mian about that during lunch break. If this were a normal situation, I'd say she wouldn't do such a stupid thing, but I can't actually deny the possibility. I'm going to call my house. I'll make sure that they send some people to the clinic. Mian didn't object to my crazy idea. She put down her chopsticks and went to the teacher's office to make a phone call. It sounds so dangerous. I can hardly believe Rena-san's going to do such a scary thing. Are you sure she's going to attack the clinic? Maybe she will, maybe she won't. But if that happens, we're screwed. We need to prevent that disaster from happening. I hope nothing happens at all. Okay, I'll send 2 of our subordinates to the clinic. I don't think she'll do it, but you'll never know what's going to happen. Can we capture her by force if she does? Honestly, I don't want to do that. What do you think we should do? We made an agreement with the cops that we're going to give Ren and Ryugo to them right after we find her. So even if we use force to capture her, we won't get in trouble. I'm not worried about losing face. I just feel sorry for Rena. I really want to settle this calmly if possible. Well, she's still young, so as long as she didn't kill someone or something, all she has to do is to apologize and everything will be fine. Ha ha ha. Well then, she might be out of our hands. Oh, I mean, as long as they don't find out about it, she'll be safe. She'll definitely be safe. Nobody really cares about the disappearance of those 2 anyway. People think that they ran away somewhere because they did something wrong. Those things happen all the time, so she's fine. Don't worry about it. She's out. She's safe. What? Are we playing baseball now? Well, anyways, please just be careful. Will do. So it's okay to capture her by force, right? Don't make any mistakes. You have to get her. Please don't make it like a chase scene or anything like that. I couldn't help but have a silly chat with Kasai-san. When I put the phone down, I sensed Chia-sensei was looking at me. No wonder, as she had been able to hear the conversation clearly in the entire room. Chia-sensei put her spoon down, and with a sad look on her face, she asked the following. Were you talking about Ryugo-san? Yes. Sonozaki-san, do you know why Ryugo-san ran away from home? You're close, aren't you? It was hard for anyone to understand Rena's situation except for me and Kei-chan, so most of them thought that Rena just ran away from home. But after she did, the cops made too much of a fuss over it. Always she stupidly believed that scrapbooks were a big scoop and he overacted So fine. Rena. He had patrol cars running around everywhere in the village. He even used the town council's phone directory to find her. So people in the village thought Rena did something wrong and was trying to run from the cops. What was going to be difficult for me more than finding her was to make up a story to retrieve Rena's honor after they detain her. What about this? Rena went for a walk, fell down, hit her head on the edge of some tofu, and lost her memory. Oh, she misunderstood something big time, and he thought she was a criminal. It was too easy. Anyway, we did make it clear that she was the one who misunderstood everything at the meeting the other day. I had to make the best use of his name while he was feeling down for once. What I'd have to do was not make a big deal about the situation, and to create an environment that allowed Rena to forget everything about what that happened in order to get her life back together as soon as possible. Everything's going to be fine, Chie-sensei. Rena is a little sick right now, that's all. A fat cop somehow made a lovely mistake and got things twisted around. You don't believe that Rena did something wrong and that she's trying to run from the police, do you? Of course not. But making her family worry by running away from home isn't good either. She had a fight with her father and she ran away from home for a little while. She acted childish, that's all. Maybe that'd be the best story to go with. I wonder if she had some problems she couldn't talk to anyone about. I must be a bad teacher because I never realized it. I wish I could have sat down and talked to Ryugo-san before all this happened. Haha, Chie-sensei, you're taking it too seriously. You need to relax. It's normal for young kids now to run away from home once in a while. Oh no, what am I going to do if Ryugo-san becomes one of those bad kids and starts doing really bad things? Oh, Ryugo-san becomes a bad kid. She does something bad and gets arrested by the police. It's her teacher's responsibility. I'll be dishonorably discharged. I can't eat curry anymore. Whatever's at the bottom, I can't see. I assume it's something inappropriate. Can I see it in the log? I'm dead. Not what I was guessing. Oh no. Oh no. Jason seemed comically upset by her own imagination. It looked funny, so I decided to leave her alone. I made it to leave the teacher's office to go back to the classroom, but right then the phone rang. Hello? This is Hinamizawa Branch School. Jason answered the phone all day today because the principal was on a business trip. I exited to the hallway. Then I heard the tone of her voice change. What? But where are you right now? What? I yelled and looked back at her. It was probably Rena. She called the school. I tried to go back inside the teacher's office, but Chie-sensei gestured me not to come in. Chie-sensei acknowledged what Rena was saying several times, and then she looked up at the clock. Okay, I'll be there. I'm your teacher. You promised me, all right? She said only that, put the phone down, and got her purse out of her locker. Class president, I have an emergency to take care of. I'm going out for a while, so please have everybody study by themselves while I'm gone. She took the car key out of her purse. It was obvious that she was going to see Rena somewhere. Chie-sensei, was it Rena? That's all. You're in charge of the class, okay? Chie-sensei completely ignored me and she ran out of the hallway. She ran to the schoolyard and got into her car. The moment the car left through the gate, it exploded. I ran out to the schoolyard myself. I headed out for the black car near the park gate and knocked on the window. How are you doing, my lady? Everything is quiet so far. I know, but I need you to follow that car just left. I think she's going to meet Rena. Understood. Rena is very paranoid, so you need to be careful. Bring her to my house right after you catch her. After that, follow Kasai's order. She's my friend. You better not get her hurt. Rena must have told Chie-sensei that she wanted to talk to her alone. I could tell that easily from the way she ignored my question. I did feel a little bad for ruining their promise, but it was very important that we caught her before she did something wrong. We could still make up an excuse that she was just wandering around because she had a fight with her father and ran from home. But if she set fire to the clinic or something, there would be nothing I could do. The car made a rough U-turn on the gravel road, and it chased after Chie-sensei's car at full speed. I watched the car until it was gone. All I could do now was pray that this was be settled calmly. Hey, pay attention, everyone. Well, we need to study by ourselves for the rest of the class today, so get back to your desks and study quietly. Self-studying. Mion ran up to me and spoke quietly. Rena just called. What? Really? Yeah, she just called the teacher's office. I think Chie-sensei went to meet with Rena. Rena, I wonder what she's going to do. I have no idea. Anyway, I told my bodyguards to follow Chie-sensei's car. I feel bad for Rena, but we're going to capture her there by force. I hope it works. They're used to doing this kind of stuff. I'm sure they'll do fine. So if they catch her, is everything going to be okay? It'll be over. Yeah. We'll send her to a hospital. If the doctor sees her, I'm sure he'll find a typical kind of disease or something. It'll be like obsessive psychosomatic disorder or whatever. While we were spending our afternoon studying peacefully, the members of Sonozaka would capture Rena, who was waiting for Chie-sensei somewhere. The problem would be solved. It wasn't going to be easy after that, but I was sure Mion would take good care of her. And in the end, everybody would understand that Rena just ran away from home because of a silly fight with her father. A happy ending. Problem solved, right? Mion winked at me. She looked like she already thought everything was over, but that just didn't sound right to me. I couldn't see any other connection between Rena and Chie-sensei. It was hard to explain, but there was something wrong. I wasn't saying that they didn't get along. Rena was a good student, Chie-sensei had a good relationship with her, but I just didn't understand what Rena wanted from Chie-sensei. While I was thinking about that, the door opened and one of our classmates came back from the bathroom with Rena. Rena! Everybody stand up. Move to the center of the room. Everybody gasped in surprise. Even Chie-sensei couldn't make everybody go so quiet all of a sudden. Rena was gripping the shoulder of the student who came back from the bathroom. In her other hand, she had a big, scary-looking hatchet. It was the same one she had the other night. Everyone immediately understood that Rena had taken a hostage. Are you all deaf? Move to the center of the room. Push the desks to the side. Nobody grasped what she was asking us to do. We all froze. Rena was the only one who was smiling. It was terrifying. Mi-chan, you're the class president. Tell everyone to move to the center. Rena, what are you doing? Bam! A loud noise washed out Mion's voice. Rena hit the teacher's desk really hard with her hatchet. She pulled out the hatchet, making an ominous ripping noise. There was now a line of violence carved plainly into the desk. Uh-oh. She broke it. Chie-sensei is going to get mad when she comes back. No, that wasn't it. What the hell? I knew I couldn't trust you, Mi-chan. I'm going to ask Keiichi-kun then. You're my only friend, right, Keiichi-kun? So I can trust you, can't I? But Rena, your eyes. You look so scary. I've never seen eyes like that in my life. Your eyes are full of insanity. Why are people afraid of insanity? Insanity means that a person doesn't share the same values and the same common sense as us. For example, say a thief breaks into your house and he ties you up. You'll get scared and wonder if he's going to stab you before he leaves, but you hope that the thief has feelings too, and that he's not going to kill you for no reason. No matter how bad the person is, we tend to believe that in his goodwill, as long as we share the same values, the same common sense, and the same morals as him. But we can't expect goodwill from somebody who doesn't have those things. We can't expect goodwill from a person who can't communicate with us. When a burglar has a knife and you beg him not to hurt you, you expect him to listen to you and to show you mercy. In other words, you can still communicate with him. But if he doesn't have the ability to communicate, he's just like a monster that's trying to attack you, or like the blade of a guillotine that's falling down on you. You fear him because you can't communicate with him. That's insanity. It was the same fear we were feeling towards Rena at that very moment. She looked like a human just like us, but there was no room for her to communicate with us like a normal person could do. Everybody understood that fear instinctively. Keiichi-kun, make them move the desk to make the room in the middle. Oh, okay. Everybody, let's do as Rena says. Rena was like a barrel of gunpowder at that moment. She seemed really calm and quiet, but she could explode at any moment. When she did, I doubt she'd show us any mercy. She probably wouldn't hesitate to use that hatchet on us. That's right. Just like how I didn't feel guilty or hesitate to kill Rena and Mion. Everybody went all quiet, pushing the desk against the wall to make a space where Rena wanted it. Rena, saying that we're moving too slow, hit the blackboard with the hatchet, making a horrible noise. Every time she did that, she left an equally horrible scar on the blackboard, the thing that we looked at the most in the school. Keiichi-kun, can you get the jump ropes out from the lockers? Use them to tie our classmates up. I'm not good at tying knots. I probably can't tie them up very well. I'll check one by one if you tie them up well enough. If I find the ropes loose, I'll kill the person. So you better tie them up really well. We were still kids. We saw the word kill all the same time. It was used a lot in comic books and cartoons after all. So normally, you'd assume we'd be used to hearing the word kill. But when Rena said she'd kill us, it sounded so frightening. I'd never heard something like that before in my life. To Rena, our lives were like cards she could use for negotiation. She'd get rid of one card every time somebody refused a request. Get rid of. Damn it, why did we use such scary words like get rid of for simple things like playing cards? Anyway, there were about 20 students in the class. That was a little bit too many for Rena to handle. She might get rid of one or two just to set an example. I decided to do what Rena said because I didn't want her to lose her temper. I got out everybody's jump ropes from their lockers. All of you get on the floor. Keiichi-kun, you can start tying their hands behind their backs. Tie them really tightly. You're on my side, aren't you? You wouldn't tie them loosely on purpose, would you? Mion tried to make eye contact with me. If everybody was tied down, we wouldn't be able to stop him from occupying the school. There were more than 20 students in this class. Half of them were boys, but most of them were smaller than Rena. But there were enough people here to overpower her. But if we did that, Rena would probably hit her hostage with the hatchet. She'd use that hatchet to attack the rest of us without hesitation. It'd be a bloody battle. I'm sure somebody would get hurt if we tried to overpower her. The hostage would be seriously injured, or maybe even die. If that happened, it was over. No matter how hard we tried to cover up, she'd never be able to live peacefully after like that before. Mion seemed to understand that too. I could tell from Rena's eyes that she wasn't going to go easy on us. If somebody showed defiance, she'd break the hostage's head open immediately. Of course, Rena had done that before. she'd probably do it again with no hesitation. But as long as we did what she said, we could prevent that bloody tragedy. If we could somehow solve the situation without shedding any blood, with Mion's influence, we might still be able to pretend that this never happened. At the least, we had to make sure she didn't kill anyone. Let's do as Rena says, Kei-chan. Mion tried to think of ways to overpower Rena, but she couldn't come up with any good ideas to save the hostage. That's how easy it would be for Rena to kill them. The best thing to do at that time was to wait for a chance without agitating her further. Mion lay down on the floor and everyone else followed suit, sluggish with terror, and I was left alone, standing rooted to the spot with jump ropes in my hand. All my classmates were lying face down on the floor, while Rena was pointing the hatchet at the hostage, watching our every move from behind the teacher's desk. I just stood frozen in the middle of it all. Keiichi-kun, there are many things I want you to help me with, so hurry up. If you take too long, some of them might have to die. Some of the little kids started crying when they heard the word die. It's alright, everyone. Keiichi-kun will save you. So nobody is going to die. Ha 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 ha. Damn it. What a bold threat. She said I was her friend, but she was just playing with the meaning of the word. I was the last person who could still fight against Rena under these circumstances. But it wasn't going to be easy to overpower her by myself. I wasn't sure if I could do even if I could do that. Even if I tried to act tough, once Rena had pointed the hatchet at somebody's neck, it was over. I shouldn't fight against her for now. I should just wait for a chance. As long as Rena was alone, there would be a chance. She made me tie them up because she couldn't do that by herself. There was a limit to what she could do, because she was by herself. If we could cover this up somehow before Chie-sensei came back, we'd still be able to pretend like we were just kidding around. I finally realized something. I realized why Rena had called Chie-sensei to meet with her. In order for Rena to take over the classroom, she needed to get rid of Chie-sensei. Chie-sensei had a very strong sense of justice. Even if Rena had a gun, she wouldn't hesitate to overpower her. She was the kind of teacher who would risk her life for her students. Rena needed to figure out how to get rid of Chie-sensei. That was the key to her plan. Rena probably thought about attacking her from behind at first, but there was a risk as Chie-sensei was a grown-up woman, so she probably thought that attacking her directly wasn't a wise choice. So naturally, the next option was to lure her out somewhere. Rena called Chie-sensei and told her she wanted to talk in private in order to lure her out to someplace far from here. Most people, including Chie-sensei, thought Rena was just running away from home. So Chie-sensei must have thought Rena had some problems she wanted to talk about. It was too easy to deceive her. Where did she make the phone call from? She probably used the phone in the school. Well, not in the school to be exact. She probably used the phone on the second floor of the school, the one belonging to the forestry service. The school was using part of the forestry service building, but this particular location was more of a branch office, so it's not like somebody was here all the time. Rena knew that, and she probably had been hiding there for a while. She called the phone on the first floor from the second floor, and she made Chie-sensei leave the school. I didn't think it was a coincidence the principal was on a business trip today. She probably snuck into the school yesterday. She saw the personal schedule and learned how to call the phone first floor from the second floor and carry out her plan. She planned it perfectly. Yeah, I knew it. Rena was insane, but I knew she was actually really calm. Also, she was possessed by her delusion, but she was also unbelievably calm about it, so she could still think fast. I knew that very well because I had been through the same thing before. What was worse is that Mion's bodyguards were gone. Mion told them to follow Chie-sensei because she thought Chie-sensei was going to be with Rena. Damn it, everything seemed to be working out in her favor. I'm done. I tied up the last person to look at Rena's direction. If I didn't tie them really tightly, Rena would kill them. But when I tied them too tightly, they suffered in pain. Their pained cries made me feel useless. Thank you, Keiichi-kun. I don't mean to doubt you, Keiichi-kun, but I'll make sure, just in case. Please put your hands on your head and lie face down on the floor. This is not how you treat your friends, Rena, and I'm saying this to everybody. If you stand up without my permission, I'll kill you. I'll kill whoever stood up, and one more person randomly to set an example. It's not nice to be chosen randomly, huh? Oh, there's a good idea. I'll kill the person who didn't listen to me. Add 10 to his or her student number and kill that person too. For example, let's say Okamuro didn't listen to me. I'd kill him and Watanabe-kun, because his student number is 11. Get it? I'll always be killing two of you at the same time. You better remember that you involve the other person's life besides your own when you attempt to stand against me. How awful. She totally understood how to threaten people. Normally you stand against an attacker at your own risk. If you fail, you're going to die. But if you were responsible for someone else's, then you couldn't try to resist. You can't risk somebody else's life with your own decisions. Okay, everybody is tied up nice and tight. You said you aren't good at tying knots, but you did very well, Keiichi-kun. You should be proud of yourself. Well, you can stand up now. It was too late to fight back. I followed her orders. I just had to wait for a chance. We could still turn this into some kind of bad joke. I had to do something. Anyway, what were you planning to do, Rena? Don't tell me this is some confirmation to where you were talking about. Okonomiya S-Speed all vehicles. Okonomiya S-Speed all vehicles. A hostage situation has broken out at the Hinamizawa Forestry Service building. There are reportedly multiple hostages. All vehicles are to head to the Forestry Service building immediately. Kuma-chan. Sorry I'm late. What's going on? Hello, sir. Today around 1 p.m., the Hinamizawa branch school classroom is taken over. All 25 students have been taken hostage. The suspect's initial demands were to prohibit all entry to the branch school's property and to secure a hotline to us. So they're willing to negotiate with us from the start. What's going on? Also, the suspect is asking for you, Oishi-san. It's Raina Ryugu. Ryugu-san? Very well. We seem to be inseparable, huh? I'll be dealing with her until the end. Oishi gave a crooked smile. We don't know if she has any accomplices. The curtains are closed, so we can't confirm the situation. Have you asked whoever told us about this? No, Raina Ryugu declared it herself. Therefore, we don't know what's going on inside. Their teacher received a call from Raina Ryugu as she left the classroom before the incident took place. This has to be very well planned, huh? Has anyone from the Forestry Service has been taken hostage? Nobody from the service here was here today. All 25 hostages are students. That number matches with the attendance the teacher took this morning. Plus the suspect, right? Have you seen anyone else suspicious other than Raina Ryugu? No. We've seen someone peeking out from behind the curtain, but it was the suspect herself. We're guessing there must be at least one or two more of them, though. Well, maybe she really is doing it by herself. Raina Ryugu was a true believer in Miho Takano's scrapbooks. According to those scrapbooks, the entire village was Raina Ryugu's enemy. She didn't have anyone she could trust. However, Oishi also believed Miho Takano's son's delusion. It was possible that someone who had influenced the same way was following Raina Ryugu. Oishi-san, the principal, and the teacher are here. Hello, Chie-sensei. Are you okay? Oishi ran up to Chie-sensei, who was crying with the handkerchief held up to her face. Rena is such a good girl. Rena-chan is a good girl. For her to do something like this, there must be some mistake. Ooh. If I were to do this by the book, I would ask you about Ryugu-san's recent behavior, but when it comes to Ryugu-san, I probably know better than you do. Please, don't worry. I'll take care of this as peacefully as possible. Chie-sensei was huddled over, and Oishi didn't think he could say anything else to her. On the contrary, the principal was staying strong, trying to figure out how to take care of the situation. Mr. Oishi, please. If possible, I would like to request to be a hostage myself. I will take the place of the children. Let me do that instead. It's all my fault. Please don't blame yourselves. I have things I want to ask you, so I'd appreciate if you cooperated. Bonchi-kun, please show them to the blueprints. Excuse me, sir. Section Chief Katsugi is on the radio. Hello, this is Oishi. Oishi-san? How goes things? Kumagai-kun informed me of the situation. The suspect is underage, huh? Please, keep strict control of the press. I understand. Also, the suspect is requesting me as a negotiator. Is that okay with you? You've known Raina Ryugu since the parasite incident from the other day. I bet she still thinks you're her ally. Only you can do the job. Good luck. Nyahaha. I really don't want to, but since I caused so much trouble, I guess I'll have to do this to make up for it. Oishi-san, Ryugu's on the car phone. That was faster than expected. I'll go get it. Thank you. Hello, this is Oishi. Oishi-san? This is Ryugu. Hello? This is Oishi. Is the signal weak on your car phone? It's kind of hard to hear. Just like me, it's getting old. Oishi and I exchanged friendly words. A long cord trailed through the hallway from the teacher's office. That cord extended further the phone on the podium in the classroom. Let's get down to business. I'll check to see if you're qualified to negotiate for me, okay? Shoot. You are my ally, aren't you, Oishi-san? Of course. Let's expose the conspiracy of Sonozaka family together, you and me. Oishi-san answered without hesitation. Was he still my ally? Or was this sly detective just saying what I wanted to hear? Actually, the second. Either way, I only had Oishi to depend upon. If I couldn't trust him, I was stuck. There would be nothing else I could do. You didn't believe me for a while either, did you, Kiichi-kun? But you do now, right? Kiichi-kun was sitting on the floor, facing away from me, with his head resting in his hands. We're comrades now, huh? Yeah, that's right. Ryugu asked Kiichimabara if he was rabbi, but I couldn't hear his voice. Was she trying to tell me that Kiichimabara was still alive, or that he was being forced to obey her because of the hostages? Mabara-san is your ally too, huh? That's nice. But weren't you suspicious of Mabara-san for a while? Yep. When I heard about the BB gun incident, I couldn't believe it. But we can't let the past fool us. We have to learn from the past in order to grow. Yeah, that's very good. You're absolutely right about that. That was why we forgave each other. So, I don't doubt Kiichi-kun anymore. Kiichi-kun is my comrade, I understand. Therefore, Kiichi-kun is my ally too, isn't he? Please say hello to him for me. Sure, I will. Actually, I'd like to say hello to him for myself. Can he come to the phone? The conversation stopped suddenly. That made me nervous. Did I say something wrong? Sure. Here he is. Kiichi-kun, Oishi-san wants to talk to you. I heard some rattling and some rustling on the other side of the phone. Hello, this is Mabara. He sounded monotone. Unable to disobey, Kiichimabara must have been pretending to follow Ryugu's orders. Hello, Mabara-san. This is Oishi from Okinomiya Police Station. Thank you for coming to the phone. Let's do this together. Yes, let's do this together. What is Ryugu-san doing right now? She's walking around the classroom. Mabara-san, please say yes if your answer is yes, and yeah if your answer is no. Do you know what Ryugu-san wants? Yeah. That answer told me for sure. Kiichimabara wasn't Rena Ryugu's accomplice. There's no way Rena wouldn't tell her accomplice what she wanted after playing a hostage situation like this. How would he help someone who wouldn't even tell him what she wanted? I'll ask you directly. Are you Rena Ryugu's ally? No. Let me change my question. Are you being threatened by Rena Ryugu? Yes. There you go. The other guys in the car listening in our conversation raised their fists in victory. Is Rena Ryugu the only suspect? Yes. If she was the only suspect, then we could respond appropriately. I guess nobody else believed in Takano's scrapbooks. If so, my being fooled was even more embarrassing. As I thought about the next question, I heard the phone being taken away from Keiichi. Rena came back on the line. See? Keiichi-kun is my ally, isn't he? Yes, you were right. That's very promising. Okay, now it's your turn to talk. Oishi-san, how are the simultaneous raids on the Sonozaka family going? Remember you promised me when we talked on the phone before? Have you found the secret research facility yet? I had to decide on what to say. Should I tell her we conducted our raids or not? Maybe she already knew we didn't raid. Maybe she was just testing me. We're trying to come up with a plan for simultaneous raids as we speak. We're talking to the prefectural police as we did the public safety division. We're talking about the entire city, so we need a little more time to prepare for it. You're taking too long. Oishi-san, don't you realize what kind of emergency situation Shishibone City is in right now? What are you doing? Oishi-san, you do believe me, don't you? You're my ally, right? Right? Please answer me. Of course I am. But the police department is a little more complicated than you think. I'm doing my best, I really am. The thing is, this is one really big scale. Oishi-san, they poisoned me recently. With the parasites that killed Toмотaki-san, they poisoned me with them. I've been itching like crazy since yesterday, and I'm all bloody from scratching at my throat. I might claw out my own throat and die at any moment, and you're telling me you're still preparing? I knew it. Oishi didn't realize how dire the situation was. He understood there was some kind of conspiracy in Hinamizawa, but he didn't realize how soon their plan was going to be executed. Besides, I was already feeling itchy all over my body, and was bound to soon die the same way Tomotaki-san did. I'm sorry, I really am doing my best. But everybody asks me if I have proof. Proof? Do you need proof? Mio-san's scrapbooks. Maybe that was why I needed to convince the police. I was afraid someone would destroy the evidence if I handed them over to Rishi-san, so I kept them with me. But I didn't have much longer to live. I might not even make it till tomorrow morning. That's right, I might be dead for tomorrow. I would die tonight. Okay, I'll give you Mio-san's scrapbooks. Please, use them to convince the other policemen. Ah, that should help. Please, do give me the scrapbooks. I looked through my backpack, which was lying by my feet. Mio-san's scrapbooks were in there. This is our last resort. Oishi-san, do your best. No. You must take care of it, please. Of course. Trust me. I'll expose their conspiracy. I knew the police would take too long to get things moving. They're an organization, after all. That's why I'm doing this, to make them understand. You have an excuse now. Please, use this chance wisely. Thank you. You can count on me. So how should we do this? Do you want me to come get it? I knew she wouldn't let me into the classroom. She was still cautious. I could guess where Ren Ryuga was going to take this thing, so I tried to stay ahead of her. I handed a memo with my instructions on it to a colleague. I can't really leave the classroom, so I'll have Keiichi-kun deliver them to you. Maybe that's better. If you left the building, something might happen. What do you mean? Well, I'm sure the Sonozaka family already knows about what's going on in there. I'm sure they didn't expect you to do something like this, so they might come to shut you up. To shut me up? Do you mean by shooting you? A hitman from the Sonozaka family might try to put a stop to this by sniping you. That's why you shouldn't come outside. Don't even go near the windows. I saw you peeking out of the window, but you shouldn't do that. They may fire at any time. But wait a minute. Aren't there policemen around? Can't you stop that from happening? We would if we could, but it's so open around here. A well-trained sniper can easily shoot as far as 100 meters. As you know, attack units of the Sonozaka family have gone through military training, and they specialize in assassination techniques. Don't underestimate them. I need you to help me expose the conspiracy of the Sonozaka family. I understand. Thank you for your warning. Even if my life is to end tomorrow, I can't die now. That's right. Under no circumstances should you peek out from the windows, okay? Be very careful. The phone conversation ended. Ren Ryuga was going to let Keiichi-maru deliver the scrapbooks. Did you get what I wrote on the memo already? Yes, we've got it. Do you think it'll work? I scared her, so I don't think she'll peek out from the windows. I'm sure she'll still have her eyes open, though. I'll work around it. I roughly understood what was going on from the phone conversation. Okay, Keiichi-kun. Here are the scrapbooks. Their contents are very important. They're proof the Sonozaka family's conspiracy, and the police can use them as evidence to conduct a raid. Please take this to Oishi-san, okay? And when you give it to him, come right back. I'm watching you. If you do something you aren't supposed to, I'll be angry. Ren took out a couple of old scrapbooks from her backpack and gave them to me. Then she cast a sidelong glance at Mion. I'll tell you about these later, Mi-chan. I'll tell you all about what a scary conspiracy your family is planning. Or maybe you already know, huh? Ah. Anyway, go on, Keiichi-kun. Just go halfway out into the schoolyard. Don't say anything. You're just delivering the scrapbooks. Don't talk, okay? If you do, if it was Chie-sensei, she'd slap you a ruler, but, what should I use instead? Alright, I won't even say a word. Come on. Put that hatchet down. I'm your ally, right? Trust me. Okay? Yeah, you're right. I trust you. So please, don't betray me, okay? Rena's eyes were telling me clearly. They were telling me she didn't trust me. But even in this state, she also knew that she shouldn't distrust her friends. Therefore, although she couldn't trust me, she was pretending to. That was why she didn't tie me up. Okay, I'll be going. I'll be right back. Okay. I walked past my friends who were lying down on the floor and headed to the exit. I saw some of their faces as I passed by. Some were fearful, some were sure that I'd use the opportunity to run, and some were scared that I'd die. They'd die if I did. Don't worry, guys. I won't let her even touch any of you. If Rena tries to do something, I'll stop her even if I had to risk my own life. Anyway, I'll do whatever it took to ensure that nobody died. I had to make sure that Rena didn't get angry. I'd just wait for the right moment. I went down to the school entrance and changed my schools, then unlocked the door and stepped outside. I felt the fresh air on my skin. I saw the lights from the police cars. I could feel all the policemen look at me. Are they going to fake shooting me? make a really loud shot and then cover my mouth so I can't like yell or make an explanation. And then Rena won't look to the window because she'll be scared of getting shot herself. But she'll think that I'm dead. However, she'll probably snap and hit me on in her anger really hard. As soon as I was in the schoolyard, a little voice tried to tempt me. I was free from Rena now. If I ran off the school grounds, I'd be free. What was I thinking? If I did something like that, Rena would go crazy, and who knows what else she'd do. The most important thing here is that it wasn't my safety. It was to make sure that Rena didn't kill anyone. I saw a big man coming towards me from the school gate. That was probably Oishi-san. Are you Keiichi Mabura-san? Hello, I'm Oishi from Okinomiya Station. You can call me Akira-chan. Sorry, Rena told me not to talk, and to just give you these to you. Please just take them in silence. I understand. These are the scrapbooks, huh? I'll take them. I tried to hand her the scrapbooks to Oishi-san, but he stepped aside a little. Eh? Confused as to what was he doing, I changed position and handed them to him again. He took them that time, and at that time Oishi put something that was under his jacket into my pocket. Don't worry. Even if Ryugo-san was watching, the building is behind you. She couldn't have seen that. What is this? I couldn't look in my pocket because I didn't want Ren to suspect anything, but whatever it was pretty heavy for its size. Did you give me a gun? I have a memo for you, too. On your way back to the classroom, please read it without Ryugo-san noticing. Go on now. She'll get suspicious. I just followed his directions. I was worried Ren had begun to suspect something. Why, don't walk that fast! Give me some time. When I looked at the classroom, the curtains were closed, but that didn't mean she wasn't peeking out through a crack. I went back to the entrance and locked the door. If Ren had checked and found the door unlocked, it could cause more trouble. Rena was in the classroom. There was no way she'd come down this way. She was alone. If she left the classroom, everyone would get up and run. They couldn't run because Rena was there, but they were all waiting for their chance. The entrance, then, was Rena's blind spot. As I changed my shoes, I quickly... Why are we bothering with shoes anymore at this point? I quickly removed what Oishi-san had put in my pocket. There was a radio with an earpiece, and something else that looked like a short police baton. There was also a folded piece of paper. On the piece of it, I saw a note written in small print. Dear Mabura-kun, please hide this bug in your pocket. It picks up even a low voice, so you can use it to get in touch with me. By using the earphone, you can hear me in return. There is also spray for self-protection. It sprays as far as 1 meter. Make sure you aim for the face. This must be the spray. I guess it's safe for me to try it here. I held down the button and gas sprayed up from the nozzle. Compared to nozzles, this required some caution. But it was small enough to fit inside my hand. It was reassuring that I could hide it so easily. Wouldn't she smell that? Right, the gasoline. In other words, it was now possible for me to stop Rena. As I realized all my classmates were on my shoulders, I felt sweat in front of my form on my face. The memo continued. The spray is just for self-defense purposes. Pepper spray only impairs eyesight, and while it makes your enemy powerless due to extreme pain and coughing for at least 30 minutes, it's not powerful enough to render them unconscious. Therefore, please don't forget that it is possible your enemy may fight back desperately and panic. This spray is your last resort. Please don't depend on it, but if you need to, make sure to use it. Oishi. You didn't need to sign it! Was he telling me to use it or not? It was probably one of those grown-up issues. If the cops entrusted me solely with the fate of the hostages and I failed, they'd be held liable. So while he gave me a weapon, he made me consider its use. I hid the bug and the spray in my pocket and went back to the classroom. I felt a little dizzy, maybe because I was nervous. I was simply following Rena's orders because I had no other choice. That's why I wasn't scared. But things were different from before. I had a weapon. I was in a far better position, but my heart was pounding. Humans are so strange. Shit. What am I going to do? What should I do, Keiichi Mabura? Did I want to fight Rena? The memo said the spray only reached as far as 1 meter. 1 meter? That's basically hand-to-hand battle. That meant I only had one opportunity. I didn't have a second chance. The memo also said I needed to aim for the face. That wasn't going to be easy. Shit. Besides, Rena was cautious. How could I stand directly in front of her within 1 meter? But that's what I'd have to do if I was to chance of winning. Rena would do anything to reach her goal. She wouldn't even hesitate to kill. Just like how I didn't. Of course, things were already extremely serious. An apology definitely wouldn't be enough, but at least there hadn't been any casualties. The more time passes, the more irritated Rena would get. She might demand something again, and she might kill someone that time to show how serious she was. Bad things had already taken place, but a tragedy hadn't occurred yet. But it was almost here. It wasn't very far at all. When I closed my eyes, I could easily picture Rena killing one of the classmates after another. One after another. After I killed Rena and Mion, my room was covered in blood. If she killed 20 people in that classroom, would be a pool of it. If that happened, Rena would... She still wouldn't realize she was being delusional. She would rip out her own throat and die. That would be too big a cross for her to carry, and one day she would remember and be saddened. She didn't need to go through that. I didn't want Rena to go through that, what I had got to go through. Shit, I felt dizzy. This was a long hallway. I didn't know the classroom was so far. With each step I took, my determination to fight Rena became stronger. Rena would be shocked to realize I betrayed her. But if she couldn't wake up from the nightmare on her own, someone else would have to wake her up. And her friends needed to be the ones to tell her to do that. Welcome back, Keiichi-kun. Did Uchi-san say anything? What is this smell? As soon as I stepped in the classroom, I smelled something. Everyone had moved to one corner of the classroom. The smell reminded me of a gas station. Was it gasoline? I saw a red gasoline container by Rena's feet. The cap was open. It was seemingly sturdy and made of metal. It said gasoline on the side, written in felt marker. She must have spread it across the entire classroom. The smell was almost giving me a headache. No, it wasn't just in the classroom. The classmates were soaked in gasoline too. How could she? I see, this was just like a hijacker holding a bomb. If the police were to rush in, she would burn the hostages. I didn't know where she got it, but she had a lighter in her left hand. Rena, what do you think you're doing? Of course I won't actually do it. This is just insurance. I don't want to barbecue everyone either. So I hope this will just end as a joke. Rena showed off the lighter. Obviously she was trying to threaten me. I have heard about people committing suicide by setting themselves on fire. They pour gasoline on themselves and light it ablaze. You might think that if we extinguished right away, it wouldn't be that bad. But human skin is supposedly very delicate, and they say that even if 30% of a person's skin gets burned, it's enough to be fatal. It is your largest organ. If it was your entire body, it would result in death for sure. I had been put in a disadvantageous position. My weapon might take Rena's sight, but I couldn't stop her from using the lighter. She'd use it at the moment she was attacked. I didn't know she realized, but the kind of lighter she had would keep burning until the lid was closed. Therefore, all she had to do was light it and drop it on the floor. In other words, my spray wouldn't make Rena powerless at all. The last resort she gave me already lost all its power. What do you mean insurance? With those scrapbooks, Oishi will convince the rest of the police. After that, their investigation will expose a conspiracy. Right? Do you really think that those scrapbooks are enough? I know government people don't move nearly quickly enough. Rena was thinking that if she didn't see any progress with the scrapbook, she'd pressure the police by letting them know about the gasoline. Let's just trust Oishi-san for now. We should just wait to hear from him, okay? Yeah, that's right. Okay, then let me pick up where I left off. Anyway, those parasites became harmless with the passage of time. But some people didn't like that. Were you explaining to all the students that... okay. Those people are the three families Hinamizawa. Therefore, they are... Rena was simply telling everyone what she heard from Takano-san. I started mumbling so I could let Oishi-san know what was going on. What a smell. Scattering a whole portable tank of gasoline. I was pretending to mumble to myself so I could only say it very quietly. I wish I could say it louder, but that was probably impossible. I wasn't sure if Oishi-san could hear me. I thought of an idea to find out whether or not they could hear me. It'd be nice if I heard a car honk. Kuma-chan, honk the horn. Kumagai honked once quickly. Gasoline, huh? Shit. That explains the smell. I'm sure she's intending to use it to get what she wants. Kuma-chan, people usually mean an 18-liter tank when they say portable tank gasoline, right? Well, probably, but I'm not sure. Kumayui-kun, is there still someone from the forestry service here? Could you get him? I see. Those cans have gasoline written on them. Do plastic kerosene tanks have kerosene written on them? Yes. We don't want to mix them up. All the fuel containers have labels. Not too many people know this, but regular portable tanks can't hold gasoline. Gasoline, while common, is extremely flammable, and it can be lit even with static electricity. Therefore, gasoline must be kept in special metal containers. Those are called carrying cans. So what Mabra called gasoline really is gasoline. Are there different sized carrying cans? 18 liter and 5 liter, I think. 5 liter ones are rather flat in shape, I think, aren't they? Yes. It's red and flat with a handle. Keiichi called it a portable tank. Do you think it's the 18 liter type? Maybe. He called it a portable tank because he wasn't familiar with the shape. By the way, if it's really gasoline, it's really dangerous. Gasoline burns when lit. What's an even bigger threat is the liquid of gasoline or the fumes. When gasoline fumes are lit on fire, they explode. Also, gasoline evaporates easily. Even at freezing temperature, it evaporates. And so, in other words, inside the closed classroom, the fumes would fill the entire space in the classroom and become a bomb. Aren't we all going to, suffocate before we explode? Kuma-chan, do you know anything about Class 4 hazardous materials? I know sometimes there's buildings that can become levees from certain ammonia gases, and of course there's some warehouses and factories that can create hazards that would create dust fires that could still, explode an entire building. No, I know gasoline fumes are dangerous, but I don't know any more than that. To prepare for the worst case scenario, I want to find out the difference in scale between 18 liter and 5 liter. I know, I'll ask the old guy. Excuse me, could you call the station and see if the old guy, forensic service, is still there? Oh, I've heard about what's going on. The criminal requested you, huh? Kaboom, Ricci, Apostu, Ron. Dora, on top of that, huh? This isn't a laughing matter anymore. Anyway, do you know about the 4th class hazardous material? 4th class, huh? Haha. If we had everyone here, we know everything about hazardous materials. Did the suspect had gasoline or something? Yeah, is that what happened? We bugged one of the hostages. Supposedly the suspect grabbed gasoline throughout the classroom. We don't know if it's from an 18-liter can or a 5-liter can. Can you tell me the worst-case scenario for both of them? How big is the classroom? Let's see, approximately 50 square meters. And the room is closed, huh? More than likely. I'm sure the smell must be horrible. That's not good, Oishi. I had a feeling. The classroom will blow up. Everyone in the classroom will be dead for sure. You mean in the case of the 18-liter? Full! I'm talking about the 5-liter one. If I remember correctly, 4 liters is plenty enough to blow up an 8x8 meter room. The policeman listened to their conversation on the side and went pale. 8x8 meters. Meant a room that was 64 square meters. Only 4 liters are needed to blow that up, and at least 5 liters are scattered in a 50 square meter room. In other words, the room has more than enough gasoline, huh? That's not good. I'd rather not hear this, but what would happen if it was an 18-liter can? Let's see, to put it in your own words, Oishi, the dealer's hand is Ricci, Ipasu, Pinfu, Taoyan, Aga, and Dora. What do you mean? Buy, Mon, from the dealer, 24,000 points. The base distribution is 25,000, so there'll be 1,000 point stick left. Some of that, huh? There'll be 1 pillar left if you're lucky. Oh my gosh, I don't want that kind of Ricci. Whole building destroyed. You should call the fire department and get a chemical unit ready. You'll need to have them deal with it after the incident is taken care of. Shit, I heard this through the bug. So if a fire engine shows up, the suspect will find out. I guess I'll have to get them ready where she can't see them. Yeah, that's a good idea. You mentioned a bug, didn't you? Yes. I had a chance to come in contact with one of the hostages. I gave him a bug. That's how I found out about the gasoline. That's not good. There have been incidents where the sparks from electronic devices set gasoline on fire. You know, gasoline's flash point is about 300 degrees. Even static electricity can easily cause an explosion. You've got to be kidding me. Why is such a dangerous liquid available to just about anybody? How the heck should I know? Tell that to the fire laws and the automobile companies. Since it's June, the air isn't that dry. But just to be on the safe side, tell them to turn the listening device off. Well, that's going to be hard to do. Oishi-san, according to what I can hear from the bug, the suspect has a lighter. That means even if Mabura-san used the pepper spray to stop her, he won't be able to prevent her from igniting the gasoline. And we can't even use the bug anymore. Damn it. Oishi, a lighter is really, really bad. Don't even let her play with it. The suspect may not know how dangerous gasoline is. From hearing about how much she spread, I don't think she knows anything about it. Oishi's back was covered with a cold sweat. He never even thought this would turn into such a serious matter. He didn't know how dangerous gasoline was. He didn't know because he'd never heard of cars exploding in car accidents. He knew it was dangerous, but he didn't know what it was capable of. Gasoline is more dangerous once it evaporates. Therefore, a burning car in an accident and gasoline fumes being ignited are completely different levels. It's quite simple to understand if you think about how car engines work. Car vaporize gasoline in the carburetor and let it explode in the engine cylinders. In other words, that little explosion in the engine is what gives car the power to move. Therefore, if you want more power, the engine needs to be bigger and to create a bigger explosion. So if an engine cylinder was the size of a classroom, how much power would it generate? Would anyone with knowledge of engines know? But a lot of people don't consider how dangerous evaporated gasoline is, because it's too familiar. 25 hostages, one hostage taker. All 26 people were basically stuck in a huge bomb. Furthermore, the suspect might accidentally set it off. If she were to pretend to light the lighter as a threat, that would be the end. All the people around Oishi had gone pale. The classroom might explode at any moment. How could they save all the hostages, especially when the criminal was living in her own delusion and her request for something so unreal? Excuse me, I found a letter in the scrapbook. One of the policemen brought over a folded piece of paper. Oishi opened it up while the others watched. He saw girlish handwriting on the paper. He could tell this was written before she invaded the school. Dear Oishi-sama, if you are reading this letter, that means I am at the final stage. I must have seized the school and held the students hostage. I am planning to appoint you as negotiators, so please pretend to be threatened by me and become my contact with the outside. The first thing I want to tell you is that my enemy is the Sonozaki family and also the aliens, who are pretending to be the parasites that control the Sonozaki family. Aliens? I didn't think you'd believe me if I brought up the aliens, so I didn't tell you about them until now. But when you read these scrapbooks, you will understand. The aliens came to Earth in UFO in ancient times. They landed in Onagafushi Swamp. They used this village as their breeding grounds. And through the selective breeding, they widened their domain. They were successful, and now they're trying to invade the Earth. What the heck is this? All of the other policemen frowned at the letter. No, it's not surprising. I read Takano's other scrapbooks, and they were all full of even stranger stories. Personally, I like the one about the Ozzy the best. The Sonozaki family, as well as the village authorities, have been brainwashed by the aliens. The villagers' attempts to revive the cult of Oyashiro-sama were actually part of the alien strategy to invade Earth. The aliens are very clever. They don't let people realize they're being controlled. The Erie Clinic must be their secret research center. Please conduct an investigation and expose every secret. Also, please check out the bottom of the swamp. The UFO must still be there. Also, capture all the relatives of the three families and take x-rays of their brains. You'll find hideous parasites inside of them. I mean, technically they don't show up in x-rays, but they are there, in everybody. But please be careful. The aliens limit who finds about them by replacing the host with a lookalike. That's how they've been controlling the village. Therefore, there may be some aliens among the villagers. It is possible that they will try to interfere with your investigation. As a matter of fact, they have been lookalike alien Mio Takano, Rika Furude, and me, Ren Ryugu. If you see any of those three, capture them immediately. That will be proof of aliens existing amongst us. Mio Takano? What does she think? Why does she think that? I know. I told her over the phone that according to the result of the autopsy conducted by the lab over the Gifu prefecture, the day of her death doesn't match up. Are you talking about the mistake on the autopsy results? I told her I didn't know why Mio Takano was a witness on the day of the festival when she died the night before. I never thought she'd take it like this. Maybe I joked around a little too much. It's interesting that she included herself. Did she look in a mirror or something? One of the policemen spoke up. He was on the pair who searched the garbage dump that night. I can understand that. Remember the night we looked for Ren Ryugu? Somebody said that she was seen in Gogura. That must be it. It was probably a bluff from the villagers, and she must have heard it somewhere and assumed there was another version of her walking around. Damn! Nostradamus, was it? This is just like that. No matter what happens to her, everything sounds like it was predetermined. Ren Ryugu would blame aliens if she was to trip and fall down now. Or maybe she's coming up with all this crazy stuff so that once she's caught, she can use the insanity defense in court. No, this isn't about that. She really does believe in this crazy stuff. She does from the bottom of her heart. I know that for sure. She truly believes in these stupid scrapbooks. There's another letter. Let's see. P.S. I was poisoned yesterday with the same stuff that killed Tomotaki-san. I've been scratching my throat since then. I will probably have clawed up my throat open. I will probably have clawed my throat open by tomorrow. If you can find the antidote when you investigate the Irie Clinic, please bring it to me. This sure is something. Yeah, if she believes in the alien stories, maybe we can trick her with the antidote. But you may not find the antidote. Or maybe it'll be too late by the time you do. Therefore, consider the time I have left. I will set 7 p.m. tonight as the deadline. If an investigation doesn't take place and the antidote doesn't arrive by 7 p.m., I will choose to die with all the hostages by lighting the gasoline instead. 7 p.m.? What time is it now? It's a little before 6. Days are long nowadays. It doesn't get dark even in the evenings. It'll probably start to get dark around 7 p.m. I mean, it'd be pretty bright with the fucking school lit on fire. We only have an hour. No, it might even explode before that. Shit. What can we do? What the heck is she talking about? An alien invasion? And she's trying to take hostages with her? She's trying to take the hostages with her? That's just crazy. Yeah, that's absolutely crazy. We can't negotiate with her normally now, especially when she thinks she's absolutely sane. Oh, look, what comes next? What? I'm planning to spread gasoline throughout the classroom. I'm sure you realize how dangerous that is. If anyone suggests storming into the room, please tell them exactly how bad an idea that would be. Also, the hostages are anchored down with U-shaped bike locks. Even if those alien policemen rushed in and killed me, they'd have to cut each lock. But if you tried cutting them, you might create sparks. Therefore, you'd need to completely ventilate the room first. In other words, it would take an extremely long time to rescue all the hostages from the classroom. Actually, I have a different explosive system set up other than the gasoline I spread. It's a very simple time bomb using gasoline and a kitchen timer. The kitchen timer provides electricity at a set time. I ripped the tip off its plug so it will create enough sparks to ignite the gasoline. I've already set the timer for 7 p.m. Even if I'm not around, there will still be an explosion at that time. If the classroom isn't ventilated by the time, it'll explode too. I'm sorry to ask you like this, Oishi-san, but please help me so we can avoid a tragedy. Please let the three families know that Mion Sonozaki, the successor to the head of the Sonozaki family, and Rika Furude, a mascot for the cult of Oyashiro-sama, are in this classroom. If anyone from the three families helps you, I'm sure their conspiracy will be exposed by tonight. The alien invasion is going to happen very soon. Please get going quickly. To my ally, Oishi-san, Rena Ryugu. Jesus Christ! Smash! Oishi threw the scrapbooks to the ground. Damn it! How can she call me her ally? Is a kitchen timer like an alarm clock? Old appliances didn't have timers. A kitchen timer is a device that turns on appliances at a given time. When you plug it in, it provides electricity at a set time so the appliance will come on when you want it to. Wow, that's convenient. It's possible to use that to make a time bomb? Using a kitchen timer? That sure is something a girl would come up with. Why don't we call the electric company and turn the electricity off? If there's no power, the timer can't go off. But that won't work. If the classroom becomes dark, she'll probably light her lighter just to be able to fucking see. Maybe we can give her a sleeping pill as an antidote? But it would have to take effect slowly. I'm sure she'll have the hostage try it first. Be very careful. Understood. I'll get one ready. I need to talk to Mabura-san one more time. I have to tell him not to let Renayuga play with the lighter. I also have to tell him to turn the bug off. How about that, by the way? Have you heard anything interesting? The suspect seems to be abusing a hostage. Shit! I think it's Mion Sonozaki. So stop it, Rena. Rena kept hitting Mion, who had her hands tied behind her back. Rena wasn't using her fists, but instead the handle of her hatchet. Keiichi-kun, you promised me you wouldn't move. If you do, I'll be angry. Rena's gaze intimidated me. Her eyes were full of madness. I could feel Rena's emotions boiling over on the inside. If I opposed her, she would easily cut Mion's arm off. What I can't forgive is that you dug up the corpses and turned them into the police. I trusted you. I trusted you. Rena hit Mion's face over and over. It wasn't just Mion's hands that were being tied behind her back. Her neck was also tied to a window frame with a bike lock, so there was no way that Mion could protect her face. I didn't know if her forehead was cut or if her nose was bleeding, but her face was covered in blood. Her blood got on the handle of the hatchet, and every time she got hit with it, more blood was smeared on her face. The handle of the hatchet could easily smash her forehead. Because of her position in the Sonozaki family, Mion couldn't say that she hid the bodies, so all she could do was endure. However, Rena continued to attack her. Rena no longer had any restraint. She might even continue until Mion's front teeth were broken. "Stop it, Rena! Haven't you done enough? I'll tell you the truth, so Rena, please stop hitting her." "The truth? What is it?" "Keiichi-kun? No, you can't. Kei-chan, everyone, please don't listen to what I'm about to say. I may say some disturbing stuff, but it isn't anything wrong. So please don't listen. Even if you hear it, forget that you did. Please." "What are you going to tell me?" "Go on, Keiichi-kun. It's not a complicated story. That was for your sake. We found out afterwards that the place you buried the bodies was going to be clear-cut this summer, so we thought we had to do something about it, and Mion hid them in a safer place." "You told me the same story the other night. Didn't I tell you that was something Mi-chan made up? Why would she lie? She wanted to help her friend. Mion did it to help you." "That's a lie. I won't believe it. Why did you do that without talking to me then? Where even were you at that time? Why did Mion even have to tell her?" Mion was trying to be delicate. Mion did her best to try to hide what Rena did. Mion knew Rena was at her wit's end, and that was why she did it in secret, but Rena didn't want to believe her. "That's not so, Keiichi-kun. How contemptible of you, Mi-chan, to even deceive him." "How contemptible of you, Mi-chan, to even deceive him. I won't say anything about your tricks during the club activities, but this, I can't forgive you. I can't forgive you. I can't forgive you. I can't forgive you. Stop it. Don't hit Mion. Mion didn't do anything. I never knew having your hands tied behind your back was that scary. Mion got hit repeatedly with the handle of the hatchet. She could only endure. She couldn't even protect herself with her hands." "Hey, is it true, Mi-chan? If so, why didn't you tell me? Can't you understand Mion's position? She has to follow certain rules as a member of the Sonozaki family. Shouldn't you be grateful for what she's done for you?" I may have said it too aggressively. Rena turned around and glared at me. "That's right, Keiichi-kun. Mi-chan sold me out to the police because circumstances surrounding the Sonozaki family. She sold out her friend. I was her friend. I really liked her. That was mean, Mi-chan. I really did like you so much. Why? How could you? Why?" This was senseless. Rena cried as if being bullied, but she was the one doing the bullying. Normally, this would be so odd as to be impossible. But I had seen this scene before. I liked you. I trusted you. As I cried, I beat her to death. Rena repeatedly begged me to trust her, yet I beat her. I know what it's like to be the one doing the beating. Stop, 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 stop. Stop, Rena. Don't you realize what you're doing? You're hurting your friend with your own hands. I understand what you're feeling. I know you're sad because your friend betrayed you, right? But that's a misunderstanding. We didn't betray you. We've been thinking about you all this time. But she just couldn't see that. Even if she died, Rena probably wouldn't recognize she made a terrible mistake. But someday, you'll realize, even an insensitive guy like me realized, so Rena would realize it for sure. And that's when you'll feel even sadder, Rena. You will remember this bloody Mion one day. Then you will realize that you were the one who made her bloody, and you will regret what you did. But I was the only one who could understand that, because I remembered. There was no way for Rena to understand or realize that. I wondered if I was suffering the most of all. There was no way to avoid a tragedy. This was exactly the same tragedy, with different actors. The main character was Rena instead of me, but it was the same thing. Where was I? I was in the audience now. I knew how the story ended, but I couldn't come onto the stage. Stop, Rena! Stop, stop! Are you crying? What's wrong, Keiichi-kun? I stood up slowly and walked towards Rena, just like what Rena did for me before with my arms open. Please stop. Stop this, Rena. You may not know why now. You may not know why you have to stop now, but if you don't, you will regret it someday. So please stop. Keiichi-kun, I'll be mad if you don't move back to the wall. Rena's eyes went cold, and she lifted the hatchet in her right hand. Don't, Kei-chan. I'm... okay. Mion told me, but with such a bloody face, how could she be? Are you going to hit me with that hatchet? If you come any closer, I will, without hesitation. I don't need you anymore, Kiichi-kun, but I want to be with you until the end. So please don't make me mad, okay? Okay? She sounded gentle, but her expression was telling me that there really would be no hesitation. Rena would crack my head open with the hatchet immediately. But who cares? If you were in my shoes, what do you think you would do? Haha, of course. I don't want to die, so I wouldn't oppose my opponent. If they had a weapon, I would be scared. That's a lie. I know. I know you're strong enough to give up. I know you're strong enough to give up your own life for the sake of your friend. It's my turn now. My turn to be strong. I'm just like you. I won't hesitate to give up my own life for my friends. If you want, I'll give that life to you. So stop this. If you trust your friends, stop hurting her. The same pain will attack you later, so stop. Nobody is trying to scare you. We are all thinking about you. Don't doubt that. Please, believe it. Trust me. If you can come to trust me by smashing my head in, go ahead and crush my head with that hatchet. I won't try to protect myself. Don't come any closer. If you do, I'll light this place up. Rena lifted the lighter overhead. You fool. How long are you going to dream about such crazy things? You already know that yourself, don't you? That it's all just a bad dream. You want somebody to wake you up. I'm here. I'm here to wake you up for your nightmares. This also reminds me a bit of the anime version of Soul Eater. Like, the manga is definitely very, very, very different Soul Eater. Same way, like, Full Metal Alchemist has two different versions of the story. The Full Metal Alchemist and Full Metal Brotherhood. Heck, technically, Hellsing is Ultimate Hellsing TV version. But the very short... Though I think they're actually making a reboot of the Soul Eater anime, so we may get yet another variation of it. Heck, it'll probably be like a Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood version where, like, you end up getting an anime that's more true to the manga adaptation. Though honestly, I like the anime version of Soul Eater. But the old anime of Soul Eater, there's a scene of Chronogorgon and Maka. I'll actually put that a link in the description so you guys can watch that. You're the one who has to wake up, Kiichi-kun. Can't you believe that all those aliens are trying to invade the village? You believed me back then. Are you doubting me again? Can't you trust me? Rena opened the lid of the lighter. I could tell that her thumb was about to light it. Rena was prepared to die along with everyone else. Rena would die without knowing the truth. She would die believing it was the world that was crazy. She would die cursing everything in this world. That was the storyline of this tragedy, wasn't it? This was a theater from hell. What an interesting script. Who wrote it? A devil? Shit. I won't let this happen. Don't underestimate Kiichimabara, the original main character. The original main character. Don't think the same storyline will work again. I'll be taking over the script this time, and I am going to destroy it. I won't let this bad ending take place. I am going to destroy their expectations. You're the one who doesn't trust me, Rena. Just trust me, shut up and trust me. This is all for your own sake. As the main character of the previous tragedy, I am telling you this. You just shut up and listen to me. What are you talking about, Kiichi-kun? Shut up and trust you? You're the one who doesn't trust me, Keiichi-kun. Why don't you believe me? Shut up! I know you're wrong. I know how you'll end up, so I know you're going to regret it in the future. I don't want you to finish your life without realizing what you have done. You just don't know how sad that is yet. I have no idea what you're talking about. Are you okay, Keiichi-kun? Yeah, I bet. I bet you have no idea what I'm talking about. I'll tell you. I'll tell you the story of a pathetic guy. Once upon a time, there was a pathetic guy named Keiichi Mabra. He had no complaints about his life, and he spent every day having fun with his friends. But one day, he started to doubt them. After a while, he started to doubt everything. He didn't notice how worried his friends were, and he hurt them repeatedly. How sorrowful. They trusted each other, but they couldn't let each other know. Can you believe something as stupid as that actually happened? Then I beat you and me on. With a metal bat to the point of death. But you begged me to trust you until your final moments. You didn't even try to protect your head. You trusted me in your final moments, reaching your hands out to me. I didn't realize what you were doing and beat you to death anyway. Do you know how sinful that was? I bet you have no idea. That's why I have to make up for what I've done. I'm going to stop you, Rena. If you come any closer, I'll light the lighter. Just as you tried to save me with your life, I'm going to save you, Rena. I still remember how magnificent you were when you died. You weren't even afraid of it. These words will reach him, she thought. These next words will make Keiichi-kun realize. Trust me, Rena. Trust me. Rena! That was when Rena hit my head with the hatchet. I crumbled down to the floor. She hit me with the handle, but my head was probably cut open. I felt the blood on my face. Poor Keiichi-kun. That's not of your own will. The parasites that are living in your brain are controlling you. I mean, that is appropriate to say. I mean, technically, there are parasites in Rena's brain right now controlling her. So it's not really Rena's choice that she's doing this. Rena's actually being controlled by the Hinamazawa syndrome caused by the brain parasites. That Mio Takano-san faked her own death, and she's researching in the mountain. She's actually the one who carved open the damn construction site manager 5 years ago, because he was patient 0. Technically. There are versions of this story where, Keiichi's able to prevent some of this from happening, and he has a fight with Rena on top of the school. His metal baseball bat versus her hatchet. And in the end, he loses. She's straddled on top of the hatchet. She's ready to swing. And then she's not able to do it. She drops the hatchet and just starts crying. And everybody lives happily ever after. Nobody dies. Oishi-san will find the medicine for it. When he comes, I'll let you take the medicine first. Then you'll be free. You'll return to the Keiichi-kun that I loved. Just hang in there for a little while longer, okay? Damn you. I heard a phone ring in the teacher's office. Rena listened to the phone ring for a while, then realized it was for her. Rena tried to answer the phone in the classroom, but she couldn't figure out how to transfer the call, so she decided to answer it in the teacher's office instead. I'm going to the office for a bit. Don't run away, okay? If any of you are missing, or something terrible happened to me-chan, okay? Rena glared at everyone in the classroom, intimidated, and then left. That was when I heard a honk from outside. I remember the signal from earlier. Does she want me to get in touch with me? I bent down and put the receiver earphone in my ear. Can you hear me? This is Kumagai, Okonomi Station. Please, cough if you can hear me. Cough. Cough, cough. Very good. Please listen carefully. The gasoline suspect spread is very dangerous. The gasoline the suspect spread everywhere is very dangerous. The classroom is filled with vaporized gasoline right now. It's like a bomb. Please don't aggravate Ryu-san and don't ever let her play with the lighter. Please don't provoke her anymore like you just did, okay? Tisk. This bug is awful. It's also for the gasoline fumes to ignite at the slightest spark. Therefore, please turn the bug off after this communication. That's just to be on the safe side. Also, one last thing. According to the suspect's notes, she has set a time bomb. A time bomb? She used a kitchen timer to make a simple time bomb, and the classroom will explode if it goes off. We're trying to get some sleeping pills ready to give her as an antidote, but we don't have much time left. According to her note, the timer is set for 7 p.m. I looked at the wall clock. It was 6:45 p.m. There were only 15 minutes left. I could hear Rena screaming into the phone. No, the time has already been set. Hurry up, Oishi-san. I won't wait for even a second longer. As you can hear, Rena Ryu is refusing to reset the timer. She's going to kill herself in 15 minutes. I remember thinking that the same way as Rena after I killed Rena and Mion. I knew the police would come. I thought someone would solve the mystery after I was dead. If that was what Rena was thinking, then she had been planning to kill herself from the beginning. What do you want me to do? The sleeping pills should arrive soon. But if an explosion took place before we can negotiate, there will be no point. We want you to find the time bomb and dismantle it. You mean cutting red and blue cords like in the movies? It's probably simpler than that. According to the suspect, she used a kitchen timer. It's not a battery-operated one, it's one of those ones you plug in. It looks like an alarm clock. Do you see anything at an outlet in the classroom? There was one in the outlet in the back front of the classroom. I checked, but I didn't see anything that was plugged in. No, I don't see anything. If an ignition was taking place somewhere else, it shouldn't work. It must be somewhere in the classroom. No, I don't think so. The only cord coming from the hallway is the one from Rena's Ryu's phone. Is it possible the kitchen timer was set battery operated? It's tied to power by electricity. Could it possibly be in another room? There was another different room that she spread gasoline in the timer. It could be in there. Are you telling me to check the whole school? In 15 minutes? Damn, I'm injured here, you know. But if I stayed here, I'd die in 15 minutes. This wasn't a time to be pessimistic. This was probably my last chance to stop this tragedy from taking place. She spread the gasoline while I went out to deliver the scrapbooks, so she must have done it in a fairly short time. I really didn't think she had enough time to spread it anywhere else other than the classroom. Then, where was the time bomb? We're doing everything we can here. So please help us. That's all. If you don't have any questions, I'll end the communication. Is there anything else? No, not really. Wait, yeah, I do have one more thing to say. What is it? Please tell Ushi that he should never have told Rena about my past. If I come out of this alive, I'll punch him, so he'd better be prepared. Wait, 2 punches. One for telling Rena about me, and another for telling me about Rena. I understand. Oishi-san is disappointed in himself for letting Ryugo fool him. I'm sure he'll be happy to let you throw a punch or two. Is that it now? Yeah. I've already wasted a few minutes here. See ya. Be safe. Click. Rena was still on the phone. Oishi-san was definitely trying to stall her. From what I could hear, it sounded like he was telling her that they investigated the main right and found something awful in their secret basement or something like that. Hey, if you went too far, Rena would believe everything. Again. Mion was going to get hit again for lying. Keiichi. Rika-chan and Satoko crawled up to me. Did you hear? Traps are my specialty. I can't let Rena-san do this to me. Satoko realized how serious the situation was as well. The lives of the hostages, including her own, were about to be taken. Yet she tried to remain strong. Satoko, even if you die, please don't hate Rena. Rena is sick. She was just unfortunate enough to get this tragic disease. Remember? We had so much fun together. Satoko, I still believe both you and Rena are my wonderful friends. How can you still say she is your friend after what she has done to Mion-san? But can't you understand, Satoko? Once a demon starts to act up inside, no matter how tragic the outcome, you just can't stop it. Satoko quietly hung her head. I didn't understand what Rika-chan was trying to say to Satoko. But maybe. I believe in Rena-san. There you go, Satoko. I hugged Satoko's head. Rika-chan's arms were tied, so she couldn't embrace Satoko, but she put her forehead closer to her in praise. Okay then, I'm asking the world's best trap askers. If you were to blow up this room, where would you set a time bomb? Count on me. The device has to be connected to an outlet, huh? Yeah, that's right. But it could be somewhere else other than this room. Is it possible that she spread gas over to a different room to set the device there? No, I don't think she had enough time to do that. She had gasoline hidden close by and only spread it here. That was about all the time she had. I remember now, Ren had told me last night. She had to prepare for something for today. That means she had things ready since then, at least. Those are all hints I get, eh? What a cruel, mind-sweeping game. You can find it, Satoko. If you can't, there's no way I can. I'm wagering all my trust in you. You can do it, Satoko. In order to save Rena, please find it. In that case, very well. I shall prove that Rena-san's trap is child's play compared to one of my own. I'm going to ask you one more time. If you were to blow up this room, where would you set a time bomb? Satoko grinned and then closed her eyes to concentrate. Well, who are you people? Move over. Who's in charge here? Several cars had arrived, producing several men. They weren't from Okinomiya Station. One of the men was wearing a suit despite the hot weather. He approached me, pushing Kumagai aside. Hey, look who's here. Good to see you again. Otaka-kun from the prefectural headquarters? Watch your mouth. I'm ranked much higher than you now, so don't address me so casually. Can I help you with something, Otaku-kun? I'm rather busy at the moment. You can't possibly be thinking about taking over this case. Who approved that exactly? I did, Oishi-kun. To Chief. Taku has informed me of the situation. He has told me that you started all this. You can go now. The troops will take over. The troops? Oh, you aren't going to storm the building, are you? I understand the risk, but we don't have any time left before the bomb goes off. You've taken too long. We're here to take care of the mess you've left behind. Just step back for a minute. I couldn't talk back if both the chief and a guy from prefectural headquarters gave me an order. Oishi-san, who the heck is he? That's Otaku-kun. A long time ago he was showing off even though he was bad at mahjong, so I taught him a lesson. Or maybe he's still holding a grudge when I knocked him unconscious in that kendo tournament. Obviously we didn't get along. Give me that latest update, Oishi-kun. Are you serious about storming the school? We were about to settle this thing peacefully with some sleep pills. What are you trying to accomplish here? It's too late for that. If we had another hour, that would be possible. Instead, a special unit from the prefectural police department will move in. Your unit will be their backup. Chief, you know what's going on, don't you? That classroom itself has turned into a huge bomb. But even the classroom itself isn't the bomb we're scared of. It's the suspect, Rihanna Ryugo. So we finally calmed her down and found a way to settle this peacefully. We were about to start that operation. I know we only have about 10 minutes, but I'll make sure this works. I'll continue negotiating. If it doesn't work, I'll be blown up. Then you can sit back and say I told you so, okay? Oishi-kun, the special unit of the prefectural police department isn't just any old unit. You've heard about the second company, haven't you? What's that, Oishi-san? Is this second company that well known? Do you remember the 5 years ago? When the JRI hijacked the airplane, Flight 472, I heard that special counter-terrorist units were put together in Tokyo and Osaka after that incident. So they really do exist. But why would such a special unit of Osaka be here? Otaka smiled proudly. We just happened to be holding a training session with your prefectural police unit in it. We requested their help. You haven't changed, have you? You have bad tendency to escalate matters quickly. The company members exited the vehicles, one after another, and took position. They didn't move like policemen. Otaka-kun, are you really going to have a gunfight here? One shot is all it takes to trigger an explosion. Don't worry, they won't use firearms. They're using riot shields and riot guns. These guns send out tear gas at high pressure. There will be no issue of explosions. Wow, I've never heard of such convenient water guns. By the way, can the toy reach the classroom from across the schoolyard? You don't need to worry about that. You just need to move over to let us do our job. As I lifted my arms to exaggerate, one elbow accidentally touched the car horn, which honked. Of course, I did it on purpose. Are you trying to get Keiichi Mamoru's attention? Of course. I just hope he heard it. What are you going to tell him now? They're probably thinking about breaking one of the windows with a grenade and then shooting tear gas into the room. They have no idea how serious Ren Ryugu is. Deadly serious. Even the noise of a window breaking could drive her over the edge. Are you saying the special unit can't suppress her? Of course not. That's why we've been so careful. Ren Ryugu has been intending to kill herself this whole time. A raid doesn't work on people who don't care about dying. We only have Mabura-san now. Oishi-san. Here he is. Hello, this is Oishi-san. If you can hear me, please cough. Cough, cough. This is an emergency. Please listen. I have a feeling it's not good news. Unfortunately, you're right. The prefectural police are getting involved. They're going to ruin everything we worked so hard for. There's a special unit about to break in. Hey, the only reason I haven't used my pepper spray is because they won't stop her from igniting the glass. A raid won't work. Prefectural police don't understand that Ryogo-san is prepared to die. They're assuming the lighter is just a threat, and that she isn't really going to ignite the gas. They'll break in within 5 minutes or so. Please take the lighter from Ren and Ryuga before they move in. Is that in addition to your order to do something about the time bomb? Yes, that's right. You've got to be kidding me. You want me to take the lighter from Ren and do something of the time bomb all within 5 minutes? Come on! You're the one who can count on. I'm begging you. How is it, Satoko? Can you think of something? I just have to check the hallway on the first floor. Check whether it's there or not. Knowing Renaissance patterns, if it's on the first floor, it would be there. And if it's on the second floor, it would be there. I just have to check to see if it's the cord in the hallway or on the first floor, right? It should be there. Tish. If Renaissance was in a normal state of mind, I would know for certain. But with her being like this, I really cannot figure out her thought pattern right now. Okay, I'll do something. We don't even have time to think about it. I'll look into those two options myself. I don't want another tragedy. You demons down in hell, I bet you're just waiting for an amusing ending to unfold while eating some popcorn. I won't let that happen. I'm going to change everything. And then I'm going to make you pick up your popcorn off the floor. I spoke to Rena as she continued on with her story about the aliens. Eh? What is it? What's the matter, Keiichi-kun? Hey, didn't you hear something just now? Rena went quiet and looked around. Rena had become totally paranoid about everything. Once she became worried, she couldn't ignore it. Really? Are you sure, Keiichi-kun? Yeah, I'm sure I heard something. I knew she'd want to check it herself, but she really couldn't leave the room for something like that. So in that case, she'd have to ask me to check for it. Rena must have been thinking the same thing. Keiichi-kun! Can you go check? Rena gave me an order with a fake smile on her lips. Yeah, okay. Rena watched me go out into the hallway. As I did, she spoke to me. Don't make me angry, okay? Trust me. I'm your friend. Yeah, I trust you. I trust you, so don't betray me, okay? After being freed from Rena, I looked around for a cord in a hurry. I didn't even have 5 minutes. The office probably had more outlets than anywhere else. I headed for the teacher's office. Shit, where were the outlets? Unlike light switches, light outlets could be always found in our entrances. But why did it have to be the clock in the teacher's office? Had to make sure loud clicking noise. Don't worry, Keiichi, you will find it. Rena-san would, if I were Rena-san. If Rena-san was even more mistrusting than usual, where would she set the trap? A trap expert like this ought to be able to discern that. What's this? I saw a plug inserted in the unit under the principal desk. I also saw a cord extending out of the door to the reception room. There shouldn't have been any reason for a cord had to be extended to that room. The reception room had an outlet of its own. I tipped over to the reception room and opened that door. Squeak! The door squeaked as I cracked it open a little. I put my head inside the reception room. I saw the suspicious cord crossing the room and extending under the doorway into the hallway. I followed the cord through the reception room. I opened the door hallway, and the cord was extending into the storage closet. The storage closet was used to hold cleaning chemicals, so I could smell from here. The cord was extending into there. I carefully opened the door and turned the lights on. The cord was attached to another extension cord. And there was an alarm clock that didn't belong in there. I found it. The time bomb. So all I had to do was unplug the cord. I picked up the alarm clock. It looked like a normal... Actually, it was a normal alarm clock. I remember Kumagai calling it a kitchen timer. He said it was a bit like an alarm clock. But this wasn't like a bit alarm... It was an alarm clock. Wait, didn't an alarm clock use batteries? This alarm clock was a battery-operated one, too. I looked at the extension cord, and there was nothing plugged into it. Eh? What was this extension cord for? Why was this extending all the way from the teacher's office? No, Keiichi-san. Run. Satoko. That's the wrong place. You've been tricked. A black shadow was covering me. I felt my body freeze. It was so frozen that I felt it was about to crack. I turned around slowly and saw someone holding a hatchet above their head. I dropped the alarm clock. It made a noise as it hit the ground. Why did you follow the extension cord? And why did you have the alarm clock in your hands? Why did you? All the cells in my body were frozen. This was Rena's trap. Rena was suspicious of everyone, including me. This whole time she thought there was someone connected to the people outside. This was a trap to lure that person out. The only people outside knew about the time bomb. And I was told the whole thing. And so I followed the extension cord and picked up the alarm clock. How stupid of me. Wait, Rena. Ha 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 ha, I trusted you, Keiichi-kun. How could you? Rena hit me with the backside of the hatchet earlier. It was painful, but it didn't kill me. But this time she was holding the hatchet the right way. It wouldn't just crack my forehead. It would split my entire head open. Rena lifted the hatchet mercilessly. She moved slowly as if everything was in slow motion. She looked almost divine. Maybe it really was holy. I was praying, after all. Praying. What was I praying for? I was praying for my life. Wah! It was so sudden I couldn't tell what happened. Rika-chan had jumped onto Rena from behind. I didn't know what kind of weapon Rika-chan used, but Rena started moaning. It clearly hurt. Did you get her with the syringe? With the medicine? That brought me back to reality. I couldn't just watch them. I had to get the lighter from Rena. Wah! Don't think you can win with mere force. Rena knew I was after the lighter. She closed her fingers around it tightly. Rika-chan was grabbing onto the arm. Rena was holding with the hatchet in. I wanted to tell her to run, but thanks to Rika-chan, I could use both my hands to get at the lighter. Wah! The lighter flew out of Rena's hand. It hit the hallway wall and dropped down to the floor. I picked it up. At the same time I did, Rena managed to shake off Rika-chan. Keiichi-san, I know now. I figured it out. I heard Satoko screaming from the classroom. Satoko had figured out where Rena hid the time bomb. I wanted to catch Rena, but I didn't have time for that. I had to do something about the time bomb instead. Keiichi, hurry up and go back to Satoko. Rika-chan had spread her arms, blocking Rena's path forward. What are you doing? Just run. Keiichi. This isn't the first time I've done this for you. Don't you remember? Eh? If I tried a little harder the previous time, you could have made it. So this time, you are going to make it. Just go. I didn't know what Rika-chan was talking about. But there was one thing I did know. Just like Ren and Mion were ready to give up on their lives for their friends, and I was willing to cut mine. Rika-chan was prepared for that too. Therefore, telling Rika-chan to run was like telling her she wasn't my friend. And so, I will depend on my friend, Rika-chan. Thank you, Rika-chan. Thank you, Rika-chan. Keiichi-san, we are running out of time. Leave it to Rika-chan. I dashed to the classroom. As soon as Rika-chan heard Keiichi's footsteps reach the classroom door, she sighed in relief. As she did, Rena's black shadow came even closer. That's great. That's just great. This isn't a club activity, you know. You'll be killed for real. You'll be killed by an angry Rena. And then I'll take you home. You're not afraid of me, are you? You're amazing, Rika-chan. Rika grabbed a mop as she ran from the storage closet. She picked it up and held it upside down like a spear. Rika-chan's stance told Rena that she was ready to fight. Rika-chan didn't look like a little girl anymore. She looked so brave. She looked so brave that Rena was even startled by it. Boy, you really are amazing. You aren't afraid of being killed at all, huh? Heh. Rika smiled cynically. Rika usually never smiled this way. Do you really think I would be afraid of death? I've experienced several hundred deaths up until now. Why should I be afraid of it all of a sudden? You aren't Rika-chan, are you? You're the one I met that night. Show yourself, alien. Where is the real Rika-chan? The real Rika She's right here. Meep. Nipa. Ah, the way you're looking down on me, that really is like Rika-chan. I get it. Oyashiro-sama is an alien. The Furuta family is descended from, and therefore you are a descendant of aliens. Ha ha ha. I'll crack open your head and drag out the parasites in your brain. That would kill her. Rena raised her hatchet and charged at Rika with a scream. Yeah, one swing is all I need to smash your head open. Rena looked like a beast charging toward its prey. Rika took a step backwards and lowered her body, preparing to counterattack. She did that with no hesitation. Even a minute is plenty. I'll play with you. Come on, hatchet girl. Do you not get it, Keiichi-san? All the hints were already in place this morning. Calm down, Satoko. Explain more slowly so I can understand. What are you trying to say? It's simple if you just remember. Come on, it's quite obvious when you do. Hey, something stinks today. Close the windows. Silly, it'll be hotter if we close the windows. We had been smelling gasoline from outdoors. There was no forestry service in the office, so they weren't doing any work today. The smell wasn't coming from anything they were doing. In other words, it was the smell of Rena's gasoline. Rena hid the gasoline near the classroom. She had it in a plastic container. You can't smell gasoline that's in a plastic container. So in other words, she had more gasoline ready than that just in the container, used to spread around the classroom. Where was the smell coming from? Was it from outside? Vaporized gasoline is heavier than air. It stinks. There was another hint other than that. What? Our ball is missing. You hid it again. Didn't you, Hojo? Why would I hide such a stupid thing? If I was going to hide something, I'd hide it better than that. Kids who love to play with their ball, never lose it. It should have been in a place, someplace it always was, but it was gone. So that must mean Rena used it for something. The gasoline was coming from above. A ball was missing, so maybe it was stuffed somewhere. Rena-san blocked the drain with the ball and poured gasoline in the drain canal. Where? On top of the roof on the second floor. The drain canal extended the roof of the second floor and then came straight down to the ground. If it was plugged in and filled with gasoline, it was like a huge Molotov cocktail that extended from the ground to the roof of the school, the second floor of the school. Furthermore, the drain canal ran by the classroom windows. If the canal exploded, the classroom would explode too. Therefore, the time bomb must be... I bet she ran an extension cord out the second floor window. It's on the rooftop. I picked up a pair of scissors and cut Satoko's bonds. By the way, how did Rika-chan free herself from the rope? I apologize for not being able to thin enough to slip out myself. I rubbed Satoko's head. Take care of the rest of us here. I'm going up to the roof. As I jumped out of the classroom, Satoko stopped me. Keiichi-san, here. What is it? Something silver sailed through the air. I caught it. It was a metal bat. That's Nini's. Make sure you give it back to me, okay? Sure thing. Thanks, Satoko. The metal bat fit right in my palm. I didn't even feel its weight. It really eased my mind. The name Satoshi was written on the handle. This was the bat that belonged to Satoko's older brother, Satoshi. He was the victim of last year's tragedy. You and I were the same. I won't let another tragedy take place. I'll treat this as a gift from you, who is waiting in the wings. Let's rip apart the script of this demonic tragedy together. Let's go, Satoshi. As I tried to run up the stairs, I heard a loud noise come from the hallway by the teacher's office. I saw Rika-chan rolling on the floor. Damn, Rika-chan, you held it as long as you could. Damn it. If my body were 5 years older. You're next, Keiichi-kun. Whoa. Shit, I have to go. I have to get to the rooftop. How did you figure it out? How did you? Still, I won't let you get up there. Rena's face looked unbelievably scary. She was ready to rip me apart as if she caught me. In that case, just try me. I jumped up the stairs, skipping every other step. I turned on the bug in my pocket. I didn't have time to put in the earphones. As Rena flew up the stairs, her foot got caught on a jump rope. She tripped, and then 3 buckets fell on her head. The result of Satoko's trap. Ow, 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 ow. Ow! Tish, haha, it was Satoko-chan's, huh? Satoko leaned against the wall and waved her index finger in a mocking gesture. Oh ho ho! You are pretty good, but you are about 300 million light years too early to go up against a trap expert like me. Satoko-chan, light years are units of distance, not time. Smash! The fourth bucket hit Satoko on the head. I continued up the rooftop. Rena ignored Satoko and ran after me. Oishi-san, I did it. I got the lighter. I know where the time bomb is. It's on the roof in the drain canal. I'm headed up there now. Oishi-san, is that it? Oishi grabbed the pair of binoculars, Kumagai, and looked at the rain gutter on top of the roof. There was something like an alarm clock sitting there. The cord from the clock was extending into the second floor window. It was so obvious that they didn't even notice it until just then. Satoko was working hard to remove her classmates' restraints, but she couldn't do anything about the bike lock on Mion's neck. Just run, everyone. Forget about me. That doesn't sound like Mion-san. Why not act like our club president, even in a situation like this? All of you have to do as our president is give me an order to undo the lock, okay? Satoko reached for the back of her collar and produced a bent hairpin. Satoko opened the window, climbed onto the windowsill, and faced the bike lock that was restraining Mion. Everyone, open the curtains and the windows and then run. But class, Prez, what about Mabra-san? The police will help K-chan. You all need to run. As soon as possible, huh? Did you unlock it already? To me, this type of lock is child's play. The binoculars were trained in the classroom. All the curtains were open as well as the windows. The children, in turn, were all running out onto the schoolyard. Oishi pushed Otaka aside, then grabbed his radio and yelled into it. All units go! 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 Secure the hostages. The suspect is going up to the second floor, running after one of them. Hey, what are you doing? Otaka tried to grab the radio from Oishi, but Kumagai stepped in. Oishi, get me back up on the radio. There was a dull noise. Otaka crumbled to the floor, convulsing. Oops, sorry, I guess my knee happened to hit your balls. The classroom is still filled with gasoline. Be very careful. You are forbidden from using gas bombs or flares. Again, do not use gas bombs or flares. The whole place will blow. Support Unit HQ. We secured 24 hostages. One is injured. This is Assault Unit. We're trying to take control of the first floor. We've got a problem. The electrical room is locked, and we can't get in. You can't get in? Can't you break down the door? It's located directly opposite the classroom. The smell of gasoline is strong here. We might ignite the gas when breaking down the door. We'll wait further orders. Shit. We could have just turned the power off. Forget the electrical room. Go secure the second floor. Assault Unit. Roger that. Alpha. Go, go, go. Otaka-kun. What were you going to do if you failed to secure the electrical room? That was what the special unit was for. This is the problem with the rich boys. We'll just have to secure the clock's outlet now. Sniper Unit, HQ. I see a male hostage on the rooftop on the first floor. Oishi-san. That's Mabra-kun. Give me the speaker. Mabra-kun. The clock is plugged into the back room of the second floor. I shook my head repeatedly. I couldn't do that. Rena was coming after me, so I couldn't head that way. What else could I do? The only way to go up to the top floor of the room was get the clock from there. Mabra-san, continue up to the roof of the second floor. I'll direct you from there. Oishi-san was telling me to go further up. Satoko only told me that it was on the rooftop on the second floor. She didn't tell me where exactly. She only said it was in the drain canal. But maybe Oishi-san found it with binoculars. I put my foot on the railing of the veranda and ran up to the rooftop. I had never felt so light. I felt like I could lift myself with just 2 or 3 fingers. That's it, keep going. It's at the furthest end of the drain pipe. You only have about 30 seconds. You only have 30 seconds. 30 seconds would be plenty of time. I could get there in half. Over there, was that it? It was. Sniper Unit HQ. I can see the suspect on the rooftop of the first floor. I wish you could fire. But you're using live ammo, aren't you? It's not tear gas or anything, is it? No, it's live ammunition. Use those in military. Japanese police don't need anything like that. Mabra-san, she's after you. Hurry. She'll be there soon. How many more seconds do I have? Who cares? Whoa. I slid down the roof and grabbed the kitchen timer that was sitting on the drain pipe, which was filled with gasoline. There was a cord with a copper wire attached to it. This is supposed to create sparks and start an electrical explosion. The hands of the clock kept moving, with the second hand trying to reach the minute hand. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Whoa! I threw it to the ground. A moment later I heard the noise of something breaking. Ha ha ha. Did I do it? Assault unit HQ. The time bomb has been stopped. Yes! Oh, Oishi-san. We did it. Yeah. Mabaru-san. Good job. Keiichi-san certainly made me nervous. Cutting it so close isn't elegant, you know? Not only policemen, but the children who were on their way to ambulances raised their voices in cheer. Oishi-san, there's a message from the fire department. The scene is still dangerous, so order all units to retreat immediately. Isn't the time bomb gone, though? Although the ignition device is gone, it's still extremely dangerous. The lives of the assault unit might still be at stake. Damn. What about Mabaru-kun up there? Can he jump off? Oishi-san, according to the map, there's a flower bed near by the school building. We'll tell him to jump there. Oishi-san, to all units. Stop the operation. Fall back immediately. Fall back. Alpha here. Roger that. Beta here. Roger that. Fall back. Fall back. Can you hear me, Mabaru-san? Rigu-san too. It's too dangerous to stay there. It might explode any minute. There's a flower bed by the school building. Jump down there. A flower bed? Damn it, I can't see it from here. But it didn't sound like I had enough time to be looking for it. I noticed a white hand at the edge of the roof, followed by Rena's head. Rena slowly crawled up to the rooftop. I waited for her there. I never thought you would find it. It was all for nothing. Never thought you would find it. It was all for nothing. Rena scratched at her throat. The band-aids peeled off and her throat started to bleed. It's game over, Rena. We were confronting each other on the rooftop of the second floor. This wasn't a club activity, but a real battle. Rena was glaring at me with hatred at first. But maybe because she had already given up, she started smiling wickedly. I heard the chorus of the Higurashi in the background, as if to cool us down from the heat of the battle. I didn't think we needed their service yet, though. Yeah, if it was a board game, you'd have reached the goal and won. But this isn't a game. So, this isn't a goal. It's a dead end. Shit, you don't give up, do you? Rena, you really are strong. You never give up. You fight until the bitter end. You keep believing to that point, too. Praise like that won't make me happy now. You ruined everything that I had risked my life for, Keiichi-kun. I was simply trying to protect our species from the aliens, and you ruined it. If humans go extinct, it'll be your fault, Keiichi-kun. That will be recorded in history. I didn't mean to laugh, but I couldn't help it. My name would be written down in the history books of the aliens as the one who destroyed the human species. Somehow that sounded kind of cool. Rena, no matter what you have to say, I've won this game. I've won. I've already won, and you just don't want to admit it, that's all. Yeah, maybe you're right. But maybe that's not how it works. A game doesn't end when there's a winner. It ends when there's a loser. That means, for me, winning isn't enough. What do you mean? I tapped my shoulder with the metal bat, gesturing for Rena to come at me. I'm going to make you understand that you lost. I won't run or hide. Do you know why? According to the rules of our club, we don't run from our enemies. I'll prove to you that you've already lost, Rena. Are you ready? Are you ready? Parasites and aliens? How stupid. Who would believe in things like that these days? I can only laugh. Ha 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 ha. You never believed me in the first place, yet you pretended that you did. How dare you deceive me? I won't forgive you. I'll never forgive you. I don't care if you believe in those things. But I would never believe in anything that stupid. Well, if I did have to believe in anything like that, I'd rather believe in the buried treasures of the Tokugawa shogunate. But if you still want me to believe, don't you remember our club rules? Whoever concedes victory is the correct one. There you go. Red and I grinned at each other, and as we went around in circles on the rooftop, we both checked the distance between us. If you can take me down, I'll believe in your alien stories. I'll perform a mysterious dance every morning and night to call for UFOs to come and beam up livestock. But Rena, if I take you down, then I want you to be ready. I don't think you even need to think further than that. I don't think you do. You will never defeat me. Rena came at me with a heavy strike. I caught it easily with the metal bat. It looked like there were some sparks. This was finally getting interesting. Hey, maybe you shouldn't say that yet. You might be wrong, you know? When I went through a whole lot of fierce battles in our club, I learned something. I learned about myself. Now I know what I need to bring out my ultimate power. Really? I wonder what it is. I wonder. Rena, your hatchet can be a powerful weapon. But my metal bat is as powerful as your hatchet. Sure, it doesn't have a blade, but it reaches further and it's easy to handle. I won't be going for a defensive battle. I'm going to fight you face to face, and I'm going to defeat you. I'm sure I'm stronger than you physically, but you're better at drawing out your true potential, Rena. In other words, we're equally matched. This is great. I won't need to hold back at all. So what are you going to do after you beat me? Take that, that, and that. I think I might have the upper hand. Huh. I'm just warming up. Just you wait and see. Wait and see what I do after I take you down. We've both put a lot of chips on that pile. Prepare yourself for having to make a big payout. Ha 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 ha. Aren't you counting your chickens before they've hatched? Your bluffing is just pathetic. Heh. You don't get it, do you? My strength increases in proportion to my reward, don't you know? Let's see. You'll be my personal maid. Starting from the moment I wake up until I go to sleep at night, you'll serve me all day, every day. With Coach's help, you'll be wearing a different costume every day. Wait, until I go to sleep at night? What if I make it so you won't let me sleep instead? How about that? Ha 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 ha. That's so like you, Keiichi-kun. No, thank you. Actually, I'll win and make you my servant. Ha ha ha. We both laughed like crazy people as we struck at each other. It was strange how much fun it was becoming. Ren and I were trying to kill each other, and yet it was a blast. Sparks were flying. We could get seriously injured. If we fell off the rooftop, we'd break our bones, and yet this was so much fun. I had been mourning and crying all day today, while Ren had terrified me. How did all that turn into this? The two of us can't be serious, even if we try. Even with sparks flying, we can only goof around. Too bad. That's not me. I like being elegant and graceful. You can have fun goofing around by yourself, Keiichi-kun. Rena's next strike came at a strange angle, but I managed to deflect it. Whoa! That's too weak. You're done. Haha. Finally, I'm all warmed up. This is just a warm-up, right? Huh? Stupid, this isn't even a warm-up. This is like taking a walk. Hey, you're all sweaty. Hee hee ha 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 ha. Instead of sweat, you'll be covered in your own blood. Mabura-san, jump off! Come on, jump! He isn't even listening to us. He's so into it that he can't even hear anything. Oishi-san! Sorry. What is it? What do you mean by what is it? We have to figure out a way to rescue him. Oishi couldn't figure out why he was distracted, considering the seriousness of the situation. He was engrossed in watching the two of them fight with the sunset behind them. But Oishi wasn't the only one. Everyone was watching. Everyone watching was captivated by their battle on the rooftop. At that moment, a sudden loud voice broke the silence. Maburo-san, hang in there! Careful, don't fall! The students who were about to climb onto the ambulance were cheering him on. Mion was being loaded onto a stretcher with bandages around her head, but even she sat up, captivated as she saw by what she saw was by Rena and Keiichi's duel. Our once happy days were supposed to have shattered due to a series of misunderstandings. They were supposed to be irretrievable. But, why did I feel this way? This was such a close game, but it wouldn't be fun to stay in a stalemate forever. Ren and I kicked at each other. With perfect timing, and increased the distance between us. Hey. Imagine the story just ended with, like, the hat when Keiichi was telling her to stop hitting Mion. If instead she just hit him with the hatchet right then, and Keiichi just died right there, and then 15 minutes later the entire school exploded and everyone died. Hey, this is a blast. What do you think, Rena? Isn't this just the best? Ha ha ha. Ha 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 ha. I've been having fun since the very beginning. But it'll be more fun to split your head open, Keiichi-kun. Split it open! Wow, that's dangerous. Over here. Come back over here. Let's use more space. Something like that. This doesn't happen too often. Let's enjoy it as much as we can while we can. Ha 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 ha. This would make a great picture. Look, there's a beautiful moon behind us. The breeze feels great. It's kind of like Goku versus Super Buu. Except Super Buu is... well, actually Fat Buu. Except Fat Buu is a skinny girl in a sailor costume thing. It was such a fantastical scene. Two people were fighting on the rooftop of the school building with the moon behind them. It was almost unbelievable. All the policemen and children looked at that mysterious and fantastical scene from a distance, completely entranced. Everyone was thinking the same thing, but nobody said anything. Why does it look like they're having fun? Getting all fired up in a breeze this cool. It reminds me of the Tanagashi Festival. I don't really like to just sit back and enjoy the cool of the evening in silence. When the moon comes up, I turn into an animal. All of us club members went crazy on the night of the Tanagashi. The mayor scolded us by the end of it, but we laughed at each other and promised to do the same thing again next year. Going crazy under the moon, huh? That sounds cool, doesn't it? Maybe we're already crazy. Yeah, I feel the same. We're having fun trying to kill each other. We must be mad already. This must be what insanity is like. Some people say the moon has the power to arouse passions in people. Chaos Head Noah. Maybe that's true, maybe it's not. One thing that's for sure is that even if it were a new moon tonight, we would still feel the same way. As our surroundings got darker, the sparks we create with each hit started to look like fireflies. Hey now, isn't there gasoline in the drain pipe right nearby? Who cares? If an explosion happens, it happens. Hey, what are you doing? Are you getting too sweaty to hold the bat? Why don't you take a break and dry your hands off? I'll split your head open while you do that, though. Wahaha, that's a good one. Isn't your skirt clinging to your legs? You can take it off if you want. I'll just watch you instead of attacking. Really? Then I'll give you a good blow to the head while you're charmed by my legs. This really is so much fun, isn't it, Rena? Yep, it sure is. We flew all the way to the moon. We danced. We struck. We laughed. We stepped back once in a while to catch a breath, and then charged at each other and let the sparks fly. We aimed at each other as we went around in circles on the rooftop of the school, our special stage. Rena and I were all sweaty, but we weren't exhausted yet. The beads of sweat rolling down my body just tickled me. We exchanged furious blows, one after the other. Neither of us was at an advantage or disadvantage. Neither of us exulted in victory or raged in defeat. The battle with Rena in itself was fun. It was like a dance. A dance I couldn't dance by myself. It was a dance I could only dance with someone with whom I was equally matched. Didn't you think the same thing I did when we did the club activity with the whole class, the day we dueled with the water guns? Yeah, I did. We wanted to fight like this again. As we thought that way on the rooftop, our classmates down below must have thought the same. Our fight was so pure and passionate that everyone thought the same thing. We wanted to join them. It was the same back then. We were just using water guns, but we did the same thing. But this is far more fun. I don't have to worry about how much water I have left in my gun. Yeah, we can create sparks with water guns. Yeah, we can't create sparks with water guns. We couldn't strike at each other like this either. We both were breathing hard, waiting for the right timing to take a step forward. In the midst of that, we grinned at each other. Huff, huff. This is exactly what I said then, but I'm going to say it again. Okay then, I'll respond just the same. We both smiled wickedly in that same moment. This is so much fun. I don't even want to end this. Ha ha ha. Don't hate me if you lose. No, I won't. I'd hate myself for ending this game. But I know I wouldn't be the one to cry in the end. I don't know about that. Your feet are getting weak, as if they're made out of straw. Shut up. Whoa. Everyone was captivated by our fight. They were swept up in our fight. We both had weapons. Weapons deadly enough to seriously hurt one another. But we were both perfectly matched, and neither of us had hit the other yet. Why did they look so happy? This was just ridiculous. All the people below were just watching this fight on the rooftop with the beautiful moon as a backdrop. Not even the police could stop them. This was impossible. This battle was absurd and absolutely impossible. Keiichi-san, try to stay in the middle of the roof. Use the height to your advantage. Satoko and some other classmates cheered Keiichi on, but there were some who were cheering for Rena too? To them, this was no longer a fight to the death. It was just a second round of their water gun battle. A club activity is a club activity, and a game is a game. This was just a second round, so nobody would die. Even though they had real weapons, nobody thought they would get hurt. Rika wasn't cheering. She was just looking up at the rooftop. I've never seen anything like this before. I've never seen anything like this before. Rika thought to herself. She thought Keiichi could win, not just against Rena. Rika thought Keiichi could even destroy the walls of the maze. Of tragedies that had no exit. What are the snipers doing? The suspect is trying to harm the hostage. Fire immediately, as Otaka yelled into the radio. Mion screamed for him to stop. No, no! Don't shoot Rena. Rena isn't crazy anymore. She isn't who she was earlier. That's a different Rena. So please, don't shoot her. What do you mean she's different? Look! She's swinging around that weapon. She's trying to kill him. Unless we shoot her down, the hostage is in danger. No, no! Don't shoot at Rena. If you shoot Rena, Kei-chan will kill you for sure. I can guarantee it. But why would he kill me? They aren't trying to kill each other. They're just having fun creating sparks. Can't you see? Kei-chan is talking to her too. He's telling her that they're equal. That means she can trust him more than anyone. Kei-chan will wake Rena up. No, he's already waking her up. Rena's nightmare is almost over. Keiichi-kun, you're the best. I don't even want to kill you anymore. I don't even want to kill you anymore. Huh. I mean, I wonder. Since the main thing that seemed to help Rena stay focused, like even when she was starting to go down that route, when she's thinking about the warmth on her arm, was the whole bonding thing between her and Keiichi. If we've discussed that additional adrenaline and stress can aggravate the brain worms causing Hinamizawa syndrome, does that then mean, obviously support, emotional support, kindness, and stuff like that would help, but also more importantly, the brain chemical, oxytocin, the bonding chemical in the brain, also called the cuddle hormone. The oxytocin is a chemical that can help the brain calm down. It's another one of those chemicals the brain needs to function, and it's strongly released when you are around, especially in close physical contact with people you feel cared about with and feel safe with. Oxytocin can also be released by listening to music or by hugging something, but it's called the cuddle hormone. That can be released via hugging, kissing, cuddling, hugs, head pats, heck, even sex, especially sex. I mean, it's considered a bonding hormone. So hypothetically, if you spend a lot of time with someone, particularly in a situation of feeling calm and safe, because that's the thing, it also has to be a situation of calm and safe. Because obviously if you were to just forcibly hug somebody, or forcibly cuddle someone, or forcibly sex somebody, it would not activate oxytocin. Heck, even in a situation where the person has an orgasm, it still doesn't activate oxytocin. In order for oxytocin to be activated, one, yes, you should be in close contact with somebody, perhaps even physical contact, especially an extended hug. I think the actual number is you're supposed to be hugging someone for at least 20 seconds uninterrupted for it to really start to trigger. But it has to also happen during a situation where you feel, one, affection and care about. Basically, it has to be somebody you already do feel some care for, and who they feel care for you. And of course, as you do more and more of the physical bonding, it strengthens that bond. Now, hypothetically, your brain could be fried on that kind of stuff too, if you do that bonding, especially sex, with lots of people, because then the chemical activity doesn't work as strongly. It can possibly even get completely fried. But hypothetically, especially if you haven't had too much use of that, especially in the most extreme versions of it, but basically if you were doing things like hugging people or cuddling, or someone gives you a hug for a long period of time, if it's somebody that's giving you a hug repeatedly, it just strengthens that bond. But it's important to not only feel that you both care about each other, but one thing that's extremely important is you have to feel safe. Simply put, the oxytocin or the bonding hormone will not turn on unless you feel a sense of safety with that person. It has to be somewhere you feel comfortable, a person that would make you feel relaxed, a person you feel cared about, a person that gives you feelings of happiness. And all those are very important and necessary, as is the physical contact. But most important of all is you have to actually feel safe with that person. It has to be a feeling of safety, or else it won't work. But the main point I'm being is this. Oxytocin. Oxytocin might be the best way to actually, maybe not a permanent cure but a massive release of oxytocin should be able to suppress Hinamizawa syndrome. A world without you would be so boring. Huh. Thanks for the compliment. I appreciate it. Wait, are we Batman and the Joker now from The Dark Knight Rises of Heath Ledger? It's like, kill you? Why would I kill you? It's like, what would I do without you? So, what's going to happen to the world, huh? Aren't aliens trying to invade it? Ha 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 ha. You know, I don't think I even care about aliens or parasites anymore. If the world's going to perish, go ahead and perish. Who cares about the conspiracy of the three families anyway? That's right, even if a meteor hits the Earth tomorrow. Or, say, there's a volcanic thing and gas erupts from the swamp and poisons everyone to death with suffocation. Nothing could be more fun than this moment. Hey, aren't you supposed to die tonight due to some poison? You sure don't look like you only have a few hours left to live. The thing is, she actually was poisoned. But I would say maybe oxytocin's the cure to this poison. Maybe oxytocin. You know, if this was written by at least old school Disney's, it would be called True Love. And technically, that's a definition of the chemical feeling that it provides. But, my legs. Stretching. But yeah, maybe oxytocin. Or like, true love and all that. Or true friendship and bonds and emotional bonds. And feelings of safety and closeness and happiness and affection. But basically oxytocin. Maybe oxytocin's the cure. That's right, I completely forgot about that. I'm supposed to claw out my own throat and die tonight. Hey, that's the scenario you came up with, don't forget. Come on, scratch your throat once in a while at least. Hey, I know, it doesn't itch anymore. Does it? It definitely doesn't. This is more fun than scratching your throat could ever be. Yeah, this dance of ours really is way more fun. I wished it would never end, but my body was screaming. I was breathing hard and felt dizzy from lack of oxygen. My upper body felt as light as a piece of paper, as if even a slight breeze could take me away. It really had been a blast, but I needed to end it soon. I felt the same sadness as in that water gun fight. Back then it had been declared a draw. I wonder what will happen this time. Who knows? But one thing is for certain. What? I love doing this with you. Me too. I jumped backwards and slammed the roof with my bat. The sound was so intense as a huge drum, and the noise woke up the people who were captivated by our fight. The silence returned and the chorus of the Higurashi filled the air. Okay, let's pause for a moment. Sure, let's end this with one more strike. We started to move slowly and increase the distance between us. Everyone realized it. This fight was ending very soon. Okay, this is it. I'm going to ask you one more time. What is it? You're betting something on this, right? Isn't that why you were fighting? I did? Sorry, I forgot. Tisk, you're hopeless. Okay, listen carefully. If I win, you'll become my personal maid and serve me every day. You'll have introduce me others as your master. My uniform better be cute. Of course it will. There will be a variety of uniforms, ranging from old-fashioned ones to ones that are a little more dangerous. They'll be custom-made so they'll fit you perfectly. How about that? My goodness, I don't intend to lose, but that could be fun somehow. If you win, Rena, I paused for a moment. If you win, I'll believe your stories. Rena was happy until just a moment ago, but that expression was suddenly wiped from her face. Aliens are invading Earth, and we have parasites in our brains. The Sonozaka family is pulling the strings, and they're researching the parasites in the secret, and aliens will be in control of the world starting tomorrow. I will believe that. Also, since you're dying tonight, I'll make sure you go peacefully, so don't worry. It's not fun if I win, is it? Your reward sounds a lot more fun, Kiichi-kun. Well, what can I do? You did all this because of what I just said, right? Yeah, I guess. Sorry, I almost forgot. Rena smiled sadly for a moment, but soon that expression was wiped off her face too. I'm going to win no matter what. I want my personal maid. Boo boo. It's not fun if I win. Then do you want to change it? What do you want? Finally, Rena smiled happily again. The breeze dried our sweat. It was a good feeling. We no longer went crazy, even with the moon out. We could finally enjoy the coolness of the evening. It would be so nice if we could just lie down on our backs and gaze at the moon. That sounds nice. Still smiling a little, Rena spoke. I want the same reward as yours, Rikichi-kun. What? You want me to be your maid? That's something. You don't have to be my maid, but the rest is the same. I want you to say good morning to me every morning, and good night to me every night. And I want you to treat me well, and let me play around all the time. I guess. No matter who wins, we'll always be together. We'll be together, but the one who gets the special treatment is different. Ha 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 ha. Ah. Why am I fighting with someone I like so much? I don't know. Why are we on the rooftop? Why did we even come up here in the first place? I don't know. I forgot. Maybe we're both airheads. That's why we floated up here. Yep, we're airhead buddies. We're buddies, all right. Ha ha ha. Well then, shall we get started? I don't want to cool down too much. You're right. We better finish up before it gets too cold. We readied our weapons and took our stances. I was going to suggest that we stop this. I really was. I shook my head slowly. No, we have to finish this. Otherwise it won't end. Our fight won't end. We can't quit. We have to bring it to an end. This isn't right. It's possible that no matter who wins or loses, there will be no reward. Even if that happens, we shouldn't hate each other. So I'm going to tell you this now. What? It was fun. Yeah. I feel the same way. Rena, even if one of us dies, we'll see each other again. And when we do, we'll have fun in a normal way. We'll laugh together in a normal way. And we'll fall in love in a normal way. We won't doubt each other. We'll trust each other. And we'll meet again. Right? For sure, right? Yes, for sure. Tears appeared in Rena's eyes. I noticed I was about to break down too. Okay. Are you ready? There was no signal, but we stepped forward at the same time. Our shadows jumped in the moonlight. We were fighting so viciously earlier, but now it was like we were moving so very slowly. We must have looked like a shadow play. Everyone was watching the shadows dance. Rena's shadow hit my metal bat violently. As a result, I let go of it. The metal bat bounced once in the roof, then rolled down to the schoolyard. I had lost my weapon. Here was Rena's chance. Of course, she wouldn't miss it. I was lying flat on the roof, and Rena got on top of me. Rena's knees were holding down my arms, and there was no way for me to fight back. The moon was divided into two. The shadow of Rena's hatchet had split the moon right down the middle. This was the end. Shit, that was good. I can't even pull my arms away. Hey, Keiichi-kun, it's over, right? Not yet. It's not over until you swing down your hatchet. I don't wanna. Huh? I don't want to. I don't want to. Rena's arms were still raised, with tears pouring from her eyes. What happened? What went wrong? I loved everyone, and I trusted everyone. When did I start to doubt them? I don't know why I'm doing this to you. I don't know. Why? Why am I doing this to people I love so much? You realized it. You realized it in this world. I can't believe myself. Every day was so much fun, but why? Why? I didn't have any complaints. I didn't worry about anything. So why did I try to destroy everything with my own two hands? Rena, you're incredible. After I killed you and Mion, I didn't realize I had done anything wrong. So I left a note and called Oishi-san. I still believe that somebody else was at fault. Even after I was dead. I didn't even notice I had sinned. How sad it was. To kill my friends because of a little misunderstanding, even when they were trying to help me. And how painful it was not to realize it was a sin. Therefore, you're amazing, Rena. You didn't kill any of your friends. You came to your senses before you committed a sin. Ha 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 ha. You're incredible, Rena. Just incredible. You're totally different from me. Rena stood up slowly and lowered her hatchet. I hurt my friend. I hurt Mi-chan. Just apologize to her. Personally, I appreciate that the wounds will help me tell the twins apart. I've already killed. Huh? No, you haven't. Who did you kill? Rina Mamiya and Teppei Hojo? Ah, those two. I thought it was right to kill them. But the day I killed them, the world started to go crazy. Did that mean that it was wrong to kill them? I don't know if it was right or wrong, but it wasn't the best thing you could have done. What do you mean the best thing? Don't you know? I grabbed Rena's head and embraced her. Then I told her. I told her something so simple. It was so simple that anyone could think of it, but Rena didn't do it. I didn't do it either back then. If you're in danger, or you feel like doubting others, or something sad happens, it was so simple. You should talk to your friends. That's right. You're right. Rena cried in my arms for a while. She cried about the wrong choice she made at the very beginning. The choice couldn't have been hard to see. I'm sure it was something that was within her grasp. How stupid it was to worry about it by herself. She had friends. She had friends whom she trusted. Why did she think she couldn't talk to her friends about it? I was wrong. Why didn't I talk about it? Everyone trusted me, so why didn't I trust them? I was the same way before. That's why I won't laugh at you. But you realized it. You realized a lot sooner than I did. We will trust each other. We will never doubt our friends. We will rely on each other. We will talk to each other and help each other out. That's why friends are always happy, and why we can endure anything together. Okay, Rena, why don't we respond to the curtain call? This is really the end of everything. What do you mean by the curtain call? What do you mean? Well, I was just talking to myself. Come on. We stood up together, holding hands. The moon was hanging behind us. When I nodded, Rena threw away her hatchet. It disappeared into the darkness. And then I spoke to the audience in hell, the demons who weren't expecting this ending. I was proclaiming victory. That's all for tonight. We overcame this tragedy. We'll never doubt each other again. We'll be united forever. No matter. That's all for tonight. One moment. That's all for tonight. We overcame this tragedy. We'll never doubt each other again. We'll be united forever, no matter what disaster might befall us. Don't think we'll ever yield. Who cares about tragedy? Who cares about disaster? Even if the script is written by demons, we'll tear the whole thing to pieces. The incident at the Forest Service, or Surveyed Field Office in Hinamizawa. Why is there such a large blank? Date of event, midday, June 25th, 50th year of the Showa era. Location, Hinamizawa, inside the Forest Service Field Office. Summary. Suspect broke into the Forest Service office. She forced her way into the classroom, local school, housed within the office complex, and proceeded to take 25 people hostage. Suspect had scattered around large quantity of gasoline, held the school hostage for over 7 hours. The situation remained in a deadlock for some time, but at 1845, the hostages were resisted, military time by the way, fled from the building. At the same time, a special unit from the Osaka Police, 2nd Division arrived on the scene, 24 hostages arrested and rescued. The remaining hostage fled to the roof, and after a brief pursuit, the suspect engaged in close combat. At 1910, she agreed to disarm and surrender, freeing the hostage. So it really was only about 10 minutes total that we were actually fighting. Casualties, 4, all minor injuries. Details follow. Sonozaki Mion. She was captured by the suspect around noon that day. She escaped, taking safety. The suspect inflicted minor injuries on her during the fight. Furude. She was captured by the suspect around noon that day. The suspect inflicted minor injuries on her during the fight. Hojo Satoko. She fell and suffered minor injuries during her escape. Was that from the bucket? Mabarakichi was captured by the subject. He received minor injury being engaged in combat with the subject. We are also hit a few times with a hatchet. Happy ending, everybody. Everything worked out perfectly fine. Regarding the rest, she disarmed, surrendered to police, and was subsequently arrested. She was taken to the Okonomi police station and questioned. She admitted the outline given above. There has been dispute about the accountability of the suspect during the crime, but after subjecting her to a psychiatric examination, the prosecutor determined the suspect is fully accountable for her actions. Well, the defense is in direct opposition to this and has submitted their own psychiatric examination report denying the suspect's accountability. The trial is currently in session. I mean, nobody died, and that's the important thing. Also, we'll see Dr. Robotnik juggling 6 emeralds. I'd be like, but you failed to get all the Chaos Emeralds, so you get the bad ending still at the very end. Are there Lavos appears like the future refused to change? The scenario jump mode. Mirror play. Okay. The tips reading room has been unlocked. Staff room. The demon's script. The curtain. curtain call overcome a tragedy. The Demon's Script. 17th year of the Heisei era, early summer 2005. The car began to rattle as the road turned from asphalt to gravel. So, 93. So Keiichi and Rena would both be pushing like close to like their 30s to 40s at this point. The cry of the cicadas seeped through the tightly shut windows. Point being is, hypothetically, if they married, they should have, well, depending on what age they got married to, but basically they should have several children at this point. The cry of the cicadas seeped through the tightly shut window. Most people would open their car windows and let the natural air along with the sounds of cicadas, but people are also spoiled. He'd rather keep to himself cool air with conditioning turned to the max than listen to the sounds of nature. Usually it was the rainy season at that time of year, but this June the summer had already come without any rain, just like how the weather was on that day 20 years ago. The air around this area is just as clear as I remember it. Yeah, the winds are cool and the sunshine is bright. This place could have become a World Heritage Site like the World Village in Gifu. What a waste. But thanks to that, there are no irritating tourists around here. See, that makes it much better. Why do tourists forget about pedestrian traffic laws when they're in rural areas? They walk in the middle of the road, you know. Akasaka-senpai, do you still do stuff outdoors? Not as much as I used to. My job doesn't give me much free time. Same here. Oh, hey. There he is. The other man noticed and waved his hand before anyone in the car. The man was a young fellow on a motorcycle. With a big backpack on his shoulders, he looked like he was ready to go camping. Akasaka and his partners stepped out of the car and shook hands with the young man. Captain, it's good to see you again. Yo, how have you been doing lately? Well, I hope. You can take it easy today. This is Akasaka-senpai. He took care of you back in college. Well, hello, my name is Akasaka. Oishi was supposed to come today. How was he still alive in 2003? Shouldn't he have died of old age? But he had to go for a medical checkup at the last minute. Anyway, it's a pleasure to meet you. It's an honor, sir. So, Akasaka-senpai, where shall we go first? His name was Mamoru Akasaka. He was a veteran detective from Tokyo Metropolitan Police Department. Despite the fact that he was so close to retirement, he hadn't lost his clear instinct and sharp eyes at all. Those eyes showed confidence he built through many risky experiences, and he had a well-built muscular body and a fearless aura. He must have fought against many violent criminals. His connection to Hinamizawa went back almost 30 years, all the way to 1978. He was in the Public Safety Division in the Metropolitan Police Department. He came to Hinamizawa to investigate the kidnapping case, the grandson Inouye, and then the then Minister of Construction. There he met Oishi and Rika Furude. Rika Furude predicted her own death. Akasaka regretted for the rest of his life that he couldn't save that little girl from her fate. He saw the news of the great Hinamizawa. God damn it! The fucking swamp still exploded. Did we all die during the fucking court proceedings? Like, were we in? Well, we weren't in Hinamizawa during the. So, Rena was probably. Because everyone probably went back to Hinamizawa when they went to sleep. So Rena was on trial, and then everyone died in their sleep at the fucking swamp gas shit. So everyone in the city dies. And then Rena finds out that everybody that was, worth staying alive for was dead and probably kills herself. Great. Everything we did was for nothing. I mean, granted, it'll be stuff that we'll remember in future timelines, but still. How do I stop a volcano? Technically swamp gas explosion, but still. How do I stop nature? How do I stop the natural changing of the environment that's part of the Earth's life cycle. How do I do that? I don't, if aliens existed, maybe I could do it with the space technology, but I don't. He saw the news of the great Hinamizawa disaster on TV and met with Oishi. They pledged to uncover the mystery of both the cruel fate that fell upon the little girl and the series of mysterious deaths in Hinamizawa. Unfortunately, Hinamizawa was sealed off for a long time. As a result, all Akasaka and Oishi could do for the past 20 years was publish the little information they'd gathered and ask for the readers to send their tips and clues. But recently, the seal on Hinamizawa had finally been lifted. However, they couldn't come to Hinamizawa until today due to Akasaka's busy work schedule and Oishi's poor health. In fact, Oishi was supposed to come with Akasaka, but he was called in for an emergency health checkup. The other two who came along were Akasaka's juniors from university. One worked at the ground SDF, the other was his subordinate. They were assigned to the mission of sealing off, so they were quite knowledgeable about the village. Akasaka took out a scrapbook from his bag. From the corners of the scrapbook were all dented, making it look very old. Akasaka flipped through the pages, though, for a second, and let them know his first destination. "All right, please take me to Onugafushi Swamp." "No problem. Right this way, sir." The young man got on his bike and waited for the others to get back to their car. They honked at each other to signal that they were ready, and the young man led the car to the swamp. Heading through the forest, they came to an open area where the ground was covered by concrete. There wasn't even a single drop of water in sight. All the water of the swamp had been replaced by concrete. That was the Onugafushi Swamp looked like now. This isn't even a single drop of water, let alone a swamp. I was told they sealed the swamp right after the disaster. This place is already encased in concrete by the time I arrived here for my mission. Let's go down there and take a closer look. Akasa got out of the car and walked to the center of the concrete-filled swamp. It wasn't a parking lot or a heliport. It was just a huge empty concrete space right in the middle of the forest. So this is the place people say was a landing spot for UFOs. Really? I've never heard of that. Well, that's what they write in their occult websites. They say that this is the place where our government met with aliens. I can't blame them for such rumors, though, because an empty concrete space in the middle of the forest sure does look weird. Wow. Volcanic gas erupted from the swamp in June 1983. The deadly mixture of hydrogen sulfide and carbon dioxide engulfed and destroyed Hinamizawa in a single night. The village was sealed off, and the SDF covered the swamp with concrete. But the people who write those rumors on the internet actually have a point. Any geologist could tell you that covering a source of volcanic gas with concrete is absolutely useless. That's true. I've never heard of anyone trying to prevent a volcano from erupting by pouring concrete into its crater. On the other hand, our country is known for wasteful construction using the taxpayer money. Lately, people who love things like supernatural phenomena and UFOs write on the internet about the great Hinamizawa disaster. It's well known that by now the cause of the disaster was an eruption of deadly volcanic gas from a magma chamber. In 1986, a similar natural disaster occurred at the lake Nyos in Cameroon, Africa, so people easily believe that such a rare natural disaster could occur anywhere on Earth, and that was what happened in Hinamizawa as well. However, rumor about another possible explanation had begun to fly around on the internet recently. They say that the disaster was a cover-up by the government, and they say that it was actually a biochemical terrorist attack by aliens. Why had such a rumor begun to spread now? They claim to be back up on the theory that was a secret document known as the File Number 34. Oh, right. You guys can look that up on the internet. It's called Rule 34. Someone online named it Rule Number 34. Rule 34. It's famous on the internet. Rule 34. Descriptive purposes. But the name spread and stuck. Since then, because it sounded like a government conspiracy, people loved it. It's unknown how or from where they obtained those documents, but they posted scans and pictures, which were all ridiculous. Plus, more fake evidence was produced over time, so now even the existence of such documents are in doubt. File number 34, otherwise known as Rule 34, deserves a bit more explanation. However, since it started on the internet, truths and lies were all mixed together, and it has become more of it like an urban legend. That's why Rena went insane. Rena was driven insane by Rule 34. So this is what is believed to be mostly true. File number 34 was a notebook written by a nurse named Mio Takano who worked at a local clinic in Hinamizawa. Father was most likely named after her. This woman was a researcher who studied the demon myth of Hinamizawa and tried to solve what it meant. The comments in the notebook state that the prophesized great Hinamizawa disaster of 1983. According to research, a UFO crashed landed in Hinamizawa a long time ago and sunk into the Onofushi swamp. The UFO caused parasitic bacteria from space, and then began to infect the locals. The infected villagers began to behave extremely violently, so much so they were fit for the word demon. Miyo Takano insisted that it was the explanation of the myth about demons pouring out of the swamp. An alien who survived the crash realized that the Earthlings had gone crazy because of the bacteria he brought in, and he decided to show himself to the villagers to help them out. This is how Oyashiro-sama was born. The alien was able to cure the villagers with highly advanced technology, cough cough oxytocin, but couldn't eradicate the bacteria completely. Since the villagers looked up to the alien as some sort of deity, the alien utilized its status to hand down specific rules to villagers in order to stabilize the disease. The bacteria took a liking to Hinamizawa's habitat, so when a carrier of the disease left Hinamizawa, their symptoms would reemerge. Therefore, the alien made a rule not to leave the village. This leads to the legend of the transcendence of Onofushi. The weird practices and miracles that the villagers performed were realized by means of the advanced technology that they received from the alien. Wahaha, those maniacs do indeed have a colorful perspective on things, don't they? Do you remember Nostradamus' prophecies? People said the world would end in 1999, but nothing happened. In July, and people acted like nothing, they didn't even know about it. Those TV shows made people as scared as they could be, and then ignored the fact that it didn't happen. It's kind of like people said in 2008 that the world would be destroyed or something from the Hadron Collider. You're like Switzerland or something. Though there's also things that the whole Mandela effect stuff didn't start happening until after that. So some people say that it's causing like parallel dimensions and stuff. So it didn't blow up the planet, or maybe it did. I don't know. It's neat. But it's another one of Miyo Takano's journals. But Miyo Takano did predict the great Hinamizawa disaster. It's not a lie. Look at this page in the scrapbook. You must be joking. Ha ha ha. Akasaka Senpai, is this for real? As time passed, the bacteria stabilized in human bodies and became harmless. The alien and the bacteria began to fade away from people's minds. However, the alien lived on for hundreds of years with the protection of the three families. It still lives on as the spirit of a deity in the secret temple of the Furude Shrine. The alien manipulated bacteria living inside the villagers and manipulated control over them for hundreds of years. The alien waited to regain its power and started researching how to bring back the lost powers of bacteria, etc., etc. Things get much stranger from there. People say that disaster was actually part of the alien's plan to conquer the entire Earth by spreading the reawakened bacteria. The Japanese government has a secret division that fights against alien invasions, and they trained at Area 51 in the United States, the US, etc., etc., and they moved in to stop the invasion by sealing off the entire village, and they killed all of the residents by using toxic gas. Wahahaha. Ha, there's a movie just like that. Some black guy is lead. I think that's Morgan Freeman, isn't it? Pretty sure it's Morgan Freeman. What was the title? Am I something? I'm not sure. Oh. Then again, Morgan Freeman's in a lot of movies. I know there's a movie called Outbreak. That also had Morgan Freeman. Morgan Freeman's in a lot of movies. Yeah, I know. It's too crazy real. But the writer of the bunch of bull, Miyo Takano, was mysteriously murdered in June 1983, right before her death. She gave the scrapbook to a girl as if she knew she was going to die very soon. That girl is known as Girl A. Some guy who investigated the case was able to track down a girl named Raina Ryugo, so now it's known as Raina Ryugu theory on the internet. Raina Ryugu inherited Miyo Takano's will by means of the scrapbook. She tried to fight against the planned invasion by holding the school hostage, and demanded local police uncover the alien's plot. Of course, no one believed her, and they assumed she was in a state of paranoia. Back then, people assumed that Raina Ryugu took Miyo Takano's delusion seriously and was motivated to commit a poorly executed crime. When she held the school hostage, Raina Ryugu told the police that the alien was controlling the three families, and that it was plotting bioterrorism on a massive scale. And the very next day, the great Hinamizawa disaster occurred. You've got to be kidding. Couldn't it just be a coincidence? I don't know. According to people who believe it's not just a coincidence, there are many inconsistencies in the SDF's immediate sealing off operation. Filling this swamp of concrete is one example. Several of the SDF soldiers on duty at the time testified that some of the people were conducting secret investigations outside the usual geological survey before the area was closed off. Of course, those who think it's just coincidence say that the researchers simply took precautionary measures to keep unauthorized people out of the area. I'd have to agree with the latter people. People also question why they sealed off the village for such a long time. After its volcanic gas eruption, Miyake Lake was only sealed off for 4 to 5 years. What happened in Hinamizawa was an exceptionally rare natural disaster, yet it was sealed for over 20 years. I heard that the residents of Miyake Island returned to their homes island faster than was originally intended, because they had requested it so strongly. But in the case of Hinamizawa, there were no residents alive who wished to return in the first place. Perhaps the government took their time until they were absolutely certain it was safe. How about this one? The SDF members who were on the mission to seal the Hinamizawa had their blood samples taken periodically. Some of them were discharged from the mission without any explanation after the results came back. Some believe that they were using the members of the SDF as human test subjects to see if they got infected or not. I think they were just checking up on members' health conditions, since they were in the area where the natural gas disaster occurred. Besides, normal businessmen also take annual physical checkups, and they have their blood samples taken there as well. Yeah, I understand your point too, but I have another interesting theory. There are some people who believe that there was no gas emitted during the so-called Great Hinamizawa disaster. No volcanic gas? What does that mean? Basically what they're saying is that there was no volcanic gas, and it was a sort of government cover-up. It's like in the Spielberg movie. You know, the one where humans make contact with UFOs? See, that's exactly how maniacs always explain things. What kind of basis do they have to say that there was no volcanic gas emission? Well, a bunch of those maniacs came to Hinamizawa as soon as the seal was lifted. According to them, the hydrogen sulfide in the volcanic gas should have caused some corrosion of metallic objects and major damage to the wildlife. However, there was no such signs of disruption, which led them to claim that there was no volcanic gas to begin with. But this village was abandoned for 20 years. I doubt they could find anything anyway. Well, that's the thing with the internet. You can't believe everything you read on it. Akasaka-senpai, please don't tell me you're buying into these stories. At first I didn't, but lately I'm beginning to think there might be some truth to them. You believe in UFOs? Oh, come on. Hey guys, right now, President Donald Trump is President of America. It is early July of 2025. So, here's my thing. If aliens were to land and become public knowledge, we would literally have aliens on the White House lawn shaking Trump's hand. Also, what if there were multiple types of aliens, like multiple different planets of aliens, almost like a galactic federation or something? Heck, you could have some species of aliens that are good people and some that are very bad people. And of course, in general, like any species would have, a bit of variety. After all, there's lots of very good and bad humans. So there could be some that are predominantly bad, maybe one or two exceptions that are good, and there'd also be like some species of aliens that would be predominantly good, but they'd also have their own troublemakers in their own species too. But I'm just saying this. Imagine that for a moment. Imagine, I'm right. You guys, you know what I'm thinking of right now? And I know this sounds really stupid. I'm imagining watching a reaction video by Asmongold. Like, I'm imagining watching like the reaction video of like Asmongold or Kirsch or somebody. But like I'm just imagining what it's going to be like to watch the reaction video of like Asmongold making a reaction video to live. Think about that. Think about what that would be like. Like, I'm imagining that right now. What it would be like to just be sitting in my room watching YouTube on my computer and watching a reaction video of Asmongold reacting to aliens from outer space shaking hands with President Trump on the White House lawn on YouTube. Obviously, it would be on news stations, but Asmongold would be reacting to it on his like Twitch thing, and then of course I'd be seeing it as a VOD on YouTube. But yeah, I'm just imagining watching a reaction video of Asmongold reacting to President Trump shaking hands with outer space extraterrestrials. You'd have a fucking UFO parked on the fucking White House lawn. That'd be interesting. I mean, it could also potentially go very, very bad, but I'm actually interested in watching that Asmongold reaction. Well, what if this scrapbook is the real file number 34? Huh? The scrapbook is the one that Rana Ryuga possessed when she took the school hostage. It was soon to be lost during the confusion of the disaster, but Oishi, San's old friend, was able to locate the evidence storage at the prefectural police headquarters. Back then, Oishi thought Rana Ryuga was delusional. But after reading this again after the Great Hinamizawa disaster, some of the contents seemed to hold vital clues. It's not the alien part that he was interested in, but her theory that an endemic disease of parasitic microbes, Hinamizawa was responsible for the curse of Oyashiro-sama. Of course, there's no proof that such microbes existed, so it still remains a theory. Yeah, because you have to actually look inside the person's brain while they're suffering from it. If they're dead, then they just sort of melt away. Ueshi-san says that the three families might have been researching how to bring back the original deadlier microbe in order to revive the religious devotion the villagers used to have. The Great Hinamizawa disaster could have been an experiment that went wrong. This theory is also based on theories that he found on the internet. The village clinic chief doctor died mysteriously right before the Great Hinamizawa disaster. A girl, Rikafurude, was brutally murdered on the night Rana Ryugu took the school hostage. There could have been an underground research lab beneath the village clinic, and Dr. Iri could have been forced to do biological research, but he couldn't live with his own sins and committed suicide. Rikafurude could have been brutally murdered in a sacrifice or some sort of ritual ceremony in the name of Oyashiro-sama's revival. However, their experiment went wrong. Instead of microbes being parasitic in the villagers, they became a killer virus, and they exterminated the entire village in one night. It's obvious that it wasn't a simple gas disaster. We cannot ignore the fact that one girl predicted a bioterrorist attack right before the great disaster, and that several villagers died mysteriously, including Mio Takano herself, who wrote about that in the scrapbook. It doesn't sound right to say the Great Hinamizawa disaster was an unpredicted and coincidental natural disaster when you read this file number 34. It's obvious. It's obvious once you know Rule 34. So, you're saying that the Great Hinamizawa disaster was caused by Rule 34. Wasn't a rare natural disaster, but that it was in fact an act of bioterrorism by some cultists. In the modern era, everyone in Japan knows about the shocking incident where a doomsday cult created a nerve gas, sarin, and unleashed it for the purposes of mass murder. But in the 80s, the idea of a single cult being able to carry out such an act of terrorism didn't even cross our minds. Some also whispered that the SDF kept the area sealed for so long that they could study some lethal virus, but I'm not convinced. Haha, at least this story sounds more convincing than the one with aliens and UFOs. The idea of cultists and domestic terrorism sounds more rational. Maybe there really was a UFO that crash-landed. When Rana Ryuga took the school hostage, one of her demands to the police was to have them pull out the wreckage of the UFO from the Onagafushi swamp. That's ridiculous. Well, even if I wanted to make sure if it's ridiculous or not, look at it. The swamp is filled with concrete several meters thick, and there's no way we can check. This is all because of that ridiculous construction that doesn't even do anything to prevent volcanic gas. Well then, the only way to prove Akasaka Senpai's theory would be to find a survivor from Hinamizawa and try to find that microbe in him and her. Sadly, that's almost impossible. After the Hinamizawa disaster, some survivors are subject to a witch hunt. So, even if there are any survivors, they won't tell you where they're from this area. Right after the disaster, some people who were from Hinamizawa started displaying erratic behavior. When they started dying mysteriously and committing suicide in a strange way, people got scared of them and chased them out of their neighborhoods. The government was practically useless in protecting their privacy at the time, so the former residents of Hinamizawa lied about where they were from and have kept it that way since. In that case, it's a dead end. But it's my duty as a cop to keep trying. There's enough circumstantial evidence to say that the Great Hinamizawa disaster wasn't a natural one. If I could grab a hold of one of the pieces of concrete proof, I think I could start reeling in the truth behind all of this. Yeah, but it's been over 20 years. The truth might be lying somewhere very deep in the darkness. That's true. I might not find any answers. It's already the 21st century. What happened in Hinamizawa in June 1983? The only factual evidence that I have was that Mio Takano mysteriously died and left her scrapbook predicting a bioterrorist attack. A young girl took a school hostage to make people listen to this prediction, but no one took it seriously. The chief doctor of the village clinic committed suicide. People believe that a little girl, Rikafurude, was the reincarnation of Oyashiro-sama, and she was brutally murdered. What was the truth behind this scrapbook? Was it written to reveal a huge conspiracy, or was it just a bunch of delusions written by an occult maniac? If the contents of the scrapbook were true, the disaster could have been avoided if we had heeded the warnings of one girl. If they weren't true, then who created the disaster to follow the scenario of the scrapbook? After the sarin nerve gas incident, the words mind control came into the spotlight. In contrast to brainwashing, which can easily force a person to commit certain acts in a short term, mind control takes a long time to gradually make a person believe that what he or she wants to do is the right thing to do, and to act upon it as if it were his or her own will. It's a form of character alteration, which is far more serious than brainwashing. The cult behind the sarin gas incident induced fear and anxiety into its members through its revelations of doomsday. At the same time, they ordered them to do certain things as means of salvation and had them do so voluntarily. The formula was quite similar to how Reiner Ryuga became a puppet of file number 34. So does that mean that Reiner Ryuga was mind-controlled by somebody? Does that mean that the cult that mind-controlled her tried to cause the end of the world in order to increase the credibility of their teachings, just like the older cult did? Would that make Rule 34 some sort of religious textbook for them? When I lose my grip on what's true and what's not, it sometimes makes me feel that someone might be laughing in amusement at this disaster. This scrapbook was like a script. It was a script for a tragedy that takes the lives of thousands of villagers in one night. It was a script for demons who laugh at that loss of human life. Someone wrote the script. Someone performed it. Someone watched the show and laughed. Damn it. What the hell happened in Hinamizawa in June 1983? Detective. Hello, my name is Ryokishi07. I hope you enjoyed playing Higurashi When They Cry Ho, Chapter 6, Tsumihoroboshi. There are several themes I wanted to write in this chapter, but I'd like to talk about one of them here. It's about the denial of murder. This is something I had to write sooner or later, since this is a novel about serial murders. There are two means that youngsters in particular use these days to solve problems, which are murder and suicide. When we feel stress, we choose to either get rid of the source of the stress or to get away from it. Let's say you're bullied by a kid at school. You have two ways to solve the problem. You either chose to get rid of the kid from your current environment, or to get away from the environment itself. Usually bullies are stronger and have their underlings, and so you don't stand a chance alone to get rid of them. It's also not easy to switch classes or to quit schools, so you can't easily get away from the situation. As a result, the situation gets worse day by day, and your stress urges you to solve the problem immediately. I mean, I can understand this. I was bullied extremely badly when I was younger. I mean, got the shit kicked out of me multiple times. I mean, heck, there's times where I got the shit kicked out of me 5 versus 1. So, I mean, all I can say is being punched thousands of times, strangled, choked, your head stomped on, kicked, slammed into walls, pushed downstairs, spit on, things thrown at you, thousands and thousands of times is... it's unpleasant, but then again, I've had much more unpleasant things happen in my life, so, I guess it's not that big a deal. But yeah, I got bullied a lot in school for lots of years, since I was very young, so that was... I mean, not gonna lie, it was terrible, but I had worse things happen in my life, so... by comparison, not that bad, I guess. I was trying to cheer myself up. I did not succeed. Either way, passed. Just saying I can understand. I got bullied a lot. Also, yeah. And you come up with murder or suicide as easy solutions. If suicide is considered defeat, you want to consider murder. I've actually had people criticize me that I deserve to be bullied in school because I didn't do this. That I needed to be willing to, have lethal force against the people that were mistreating me. But, albeit I'm somebody who enjoys stories like Edgar Allan Poe and violent video games like Grand Theft Auto, I generally try to live my life as a pacifist. I have only ever hurt anybody in self-defense, and I don't like the idea of hurting people. Beyond that, again, I've had much worse things in my life happen to me other than the bullying, so by comparison, the bullying wasn't as bad as the other things. So, yeah. I feel like there are many people who think that way. However, you actually committed a murder wouldn't be easy to pay for this sin. I believe murderers know that well too. But you really hate the bully who pushed you to the limit where you have no choice but to kill them. So with a determination that turns your entire life upside down, you commit murder. I'm glad I've never had to kill anyone. But then again, it's also largely just because I live in the era I do. I imagine if I lived back in medieval times, I imagine just about everybody, there was a lot of people dying of illness and disease, and war was a lot more common back then. Let alone people in recent years who got drafted to go fight in militaries. They really didn't have much of a choice in the matter. So, the only reason I can say I haven't had to do anything like that is because I've been lucky enough to not be forced into such a circumstance. But if you have such strong determination, there have to be more ways to take than opting for murder, which should be the last resort. Agreed. Granted, I do understand there would be situations where a person doesn't have a choice, but there should always be other choices, and, killing should always be an absolute last resort. You can talk to your friends. If that doesn't work, you can talk to your family. If that doesn't work, you can talk to your teacher. If that doesn't work, then what? Well, in my situation, it was largely just continue to be treated terribly for long periods of time until eventually you just are not in the environment anymore. I would say it's left some psychological issues, but then again, I've had a couple hundred other things that were actually much worse. So, if anything, those much worse things would probably lend more to causing psychological issues than the bullying. Then again, it's probably also not healthy to have spent a decade in a school building having 100 people tell you to go kill yourself 1,000 times a day. That's probably not mentally healthy for you. To have people tell you thousands, if not tens of thousands of times to kill yourself. So, probably not an emotionally healthy thing, but then again, like I said, there were much more worse emotionally damaging things going on, so, oh well. I'm alive. That's a thing. So, I am not currently dead, so we'll count it as a win, I guess. There have to be more ways. If you have the determination to give up on your life by committing murder, there have to be more ways. Our modern era is better than any era before it. There are many hotlines you can call to talk to someone. Even if you don't have any friends or family, there are many places you can go to help. Like playing a PlayStation or something, I guess. Or talking to yourself, I guess. The people who answer the phone aren't amateurs. They're volunteers, but they're also veterans who have worked as social workers or juvenile counselors for a long time. I can assure you that they have more social experience and passion than your parents do. People who work to help people for free can't be bad people. If you feel like you have no choice but to kill the bully or commit suicide, please try to call those hotlines. People who think it's useless to talk to others usually haven't really talked to anyone. Have the courage to call. There will be somebody you can completely rely on the other end of the line. Don't keep it to yourself. Talk to somebody. Ryo Kishi07 wrote such a long story just to tell you this. He must be a very poor writer. So Ryo Kishi07 wants to talk to you all rather than worrying all by himself. How can I write even more entertaining stories? Bitter laugh. That being said, Ryo Kishi, I do want either more Higurashi or an entirely new original story from you. Though, no, I don't plan to play Umineko at any point ever. Ever. Not playing Umineko. But if you do make a new story and release it on Steam, I'd look forward to it. But I still have quite a bit more of your story here to do. Now, granted, the order of the game is supposed to go as chapters 1 through 8, and then Ray and Ho, or Plus, Ray and Plus, which are sort of additional stories that sometimes go down additional alternate path lines and change some of the things. I think one of them turns Satoko into a villain that's possessed by a space witch. So, obviously that's separate from this timeline. The main timeline is just chapters 1 through 8. I'm going to do those separate things after this video. And then in the future, we'll finish chapters 7 and 8 of this main story. Oh, 7th expansion. Ryo Kishi07. Had a chat with Ryo Kishi07, the Tsumihoroboshi staff room. Well, to all of you out there, thank you for hanging out with me for a while. I'll see you again in the next video. Bye.